friends, welcome in. If you're new and we've not met, I'm Jaded Neko. I'm a variety streamer, and I will do whatever the fuck I want here. Welcome. Today I'm gonna play a random video game while I catch up on YouTube because I haven't been feeling well and I haven't been streaming, so I haven't been here. So we're gonna catch up on all our usual bullshit. Welcome back. Let's comply with the regulations and say, do what you want to do in your own time, but I'm going to be doing this. Ooh, that's nice.
Hello, motherfucker.
It lights up, isn't it cute? Hi, Javi. Straw Nana. Look at... That's cute shit. Alright. I forgot to share my thing. Oh, goodness. Okay. There's what I was doing. I'm very professional, aren't I? I'm going to my stream manager to share my shit because I'm a very professional streamer that did not do this before I went live. Who's the smart cookie? Not me. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, community. I'm missing one. What is it? Knuckles? I don't know. Whatever. Oh, Freya. Anyway. There, I shared it. Whee! Alright. Play.
Body cam footage went viral.
Am I being treated like a murderer?
No.
I just lost my video.
Not at all.
Showcasing a father's suspicious reaction to his daughter's death, which we now know he caused.
Oh my god, my nose!
1 year later, that same father has now been found dead. New evidence has come to light through investigators, legal proceedings, and witnesses.
This world is a better place without Christopher Schultes.
And ever since the case began over a year ago, things have only gotten worse. Back on July 9th, 2024, Christopher Schultes made a tragic 911 call about his 2-year-old daughter, Parker.
She was in the car sleeping. She's unresponsive. Oh my god. Oh my god. How long has it been? Half hour. It was, but it turned off. I've been checking. Oh my god.
Parker supposedly fell asleep in the family car after they ran some errands together, and Christopher didn't want to disturb her, so he left her in the vehicle, out on the driveway on a hot summer's day in Marana, Arizona. At the time of the incident, it was around 109 degrees. Injuries and deaths from hot cars have happened with temperatures as low as 57 degrees, and this was nearly double that. Christopher's wife, Erica, who was a doctor, immediately recognized it was already too late.
She's dead. Like, I need to be with her when I get out.
Oh my god, my nose! No!
Dude. I guess I missed a lot of things. I'm not ready for Discord yet.
Continuous
Holy
red flags were
shit.
raised, such as lying about how long Parker had been in the car and how long the AC was running.
She was left in the car after 45 minutes, but it was said it was on.
Was the air conditioning on?
Yes.
But I guess it turned off, right?
Versus the actual duration authorities later found out.
The father left her in the back seat of the family car for more than 3 hours.
Then, later seeming to suggest he had a lapse in memory about Parker being inside the car.
She was sleeping in the car, and I had the car on. But it has a sensor where every 30 minutes or so,
bitch.
off if you haven't moved. I swore she was in the house playing with her sisters like she always does.
Then there was the reason the car couldn't be parked in the garage, where there was shade.
We always park that car in the garage usually, but I just got a Peloton recently, and the Peloton is in the garage now.
Or what about Christopher's behavior, such as pacing around the house, getting iced water from his fridge, taking a seat, and even trying to shower? All of this instead of following his wife to the hospital to be with Parker.
She wants me to try and get her ride to the hospital.
Or what about Christopher seeming on edge when officers were watching over him?
What's going on? Why are you with me?
We're gonna have to stand by with you for a while. All right.
Is there a reason why?
So any death we have to treat like a crime scene.
So I'm being treated like a murderer?
Or when Christopher was adamant about taking a shower despite being told he wasn't allowed to.
We'll be all right. So we can't let you do that right now. We have to.
I'm trying to
stand by
off
with you.
so I can go to the hospital to be with my wife.
We're not going to shower or anything right now. You need to stand by with us.
I don't understand why.
Okay.
Was there potential evidence related to the crime scene that he was trying to wash off?
I'm standing by. Why can't I take a shower while you stand by? What is...
It's not necessary right now.
While Christopher was taking his time, 2-year-old Parker was pronounced dead at 4:55 p.m., roughly 20 minutes after EMTs arrived and rushed Parker to the hospital. An autopsy later revealed Parker's temperature reached 108 degrees by the time paramedics arrived, and the report confirmed her cause of death was from heat exposure. At the time, the most disturbing pieces of the story were in the little details. Investigators seized Christopher's cell phone where they found text messages he exchanged with his wife. Erica wrote, "I told you to stop leaving them in the car. How many times have I told you?" Christopher apologized and wrote, "How could I do this? I ended our baby. This can't be real." The father also eventually admitted that he got distracted by playing his game and putting his food away while Parker was still in the car. And we can see in the body cam footage there was a PlayStation 5 on the TV stand. The police report noted that the PS5 was powered on at the time of the incident, and a headset, controller, and a half-empty Dr. Pepper at room temperature were all on the coffee table. So, by the morning of July 12, 2024, Christopher was arrested. When police explained the situation, Christopher dropped to his knees and broke down.
We have determined that there's probable cause to look and charge you for what happened.
It's coming up here, Christopher.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
No.
Okay. So, listen.
His wife Erica comforted him by rubbing his back and trying to calm him down.
Oh, what's that? Consequences? Oh. You just murdered your fucking
As
child,
Christopher
buddy.
was sobbing in handcuffs, Erica's mom expressed anger.
No hurt. No hurt at all. Yeah.
So, I know there's a lot going on, and I know you're angry, and it's okay to be angry. As an arresting officer, I can't change the law.
I know. But seriously? His daughter, he's suffering.
I know.
The funeral.
I know. I know he's feeling guilt. I know he's feeling anguish. I can't change the law. Okay?
The whole interaction had viewers disgusted. He cried more when he was told he was being charged than when it was confirmed Parker was dead. Falls to the floor when he finds out he's being charged, but not when he finds out his daughter passed away and he caused it. And when you see the comparison side by side, it's not hard to see why people felt this way.
She's dead. Like, I need to be with her.
Oh my God, my no! No!
It's coming up here, Christopher.
No.
It's okay. It's okay.
No.
The morning after his arrest, a prosecutor pressed for second-degree murder charges, arguing that Christopher had shown a pattern of negligence with his children.
His awareness of not only the timing that the car was shut off, but the text messages between him and his wife indicating that there was an awareness that this was an issue long before this happened.
In our first video on this case, we asked, is a second-degree murder charge appropriate for a father who lost his daughter because of an alleged mistake? According to Arizona law under ARS 131104, yes. His charges were appropriate because he displayed reckless actions that disregarded human life. But a month later, during an August 2024 hearing, the second-degree murder charges were raised to first degree. Christopher, however, denied such a serious crime.
Christopher Schultz made a not guilty plea.
And a first-degree murder charge meant intentional murder, not just recklessness. The proof? Well, there's new information that makes everything even worse for Christopher. Court filings made public in October 2025 revealed Christopher wasn't only playing games on his PS5. but spent 2 minutes searching for adult content on the console, while his daughter was left inside the hot car. The judge ruled that this detail could not be introduced as evidence at the trial, but it didn't escape public scrutiny. His secret addiction killed his daughter. What is fine in secret will be brought into the light. Sad. Very sad. Total sicko, prioritizing fantastical thrills over his very child's life. That's not all. Earlier on the day of the incident, Parker was the only child in Christopher's care. His 2 older daughters, ages 9 and 5, had gone to a trampoline park with a neighbor. While running errands, Christopher stopped by a convenience station at 12:07 p.m. to 12:10 p.m. and a grocery store 12:40 p.m. where CCTV captured him shoplifting beer in both facilities.
What are you doing,
and
Alice?
both times he entered the premises alone, meaning he likely left Parker in the heat 2 times prior to the last time on his driveway. It's not known if he was intoxicated during those trips. He arrived home around 12:53 p.m. and left Parker in the car. This contradicted his claim to authorities that he returned home closer to 2:30 p.m. Since police arrived on scene around 4:30 p.m., we can assume Parker was in the hot car for around 3.5 hours total. And there's more. The Schultz's family has 2 other daughters, ages 9 and 5. During separate interviews, they made several confessions. First, they revealed family members briefed them on what to say to interviewers. Relatives allegedly told one sister to say her dad was a good dad and what happened with Parker was an accident. One of the daughters repeated this in her interview. This was not on purpose, how he made her die. He did it on accident. It was a mistake on accident. The other daughter added, he didn't mean to kill Parker. He can just get distracted and it's been really hard to multitask. Then shared something even more concerning. Christopher also left them in the car in the past, and they had to shout loudly to get their dad's attention inside the house. They also revealed Erica got angry at Christopher for drinking too much beer. He still drinks too much beer, and he keeps leaving us in the car when my mom told him to stop doing this, one of the daughters confessed. That's how he made my baby sister die. The daughters said they didn't know Parker was in the car and explained they would have saved her if they knew. And that drinking problem, it turns out it stemmed from another addiction. Earlier that year, in March 2024, Erica wrote, "You haven't shown me you can stop putting the girls in danger or not treat me badly. Even yesterday, you drove home drunk with 2 minors. You drink to excess every time. You can never have just one. I've been asking for 3 years to cut back, and it's actually gotten worse." Christopher responded he'd have to find relief and happiness elsewhere. Erica accused him of replacing narcotics with alcohol. He responded, "At least this one is legal, right? I'm a piece of addict and I need to get addicted to healthy things like running again." A little over a week later, Erica sent another text asking him, "Why were you going 138 with our baby in the car with alcohol in your system?" Christopher took no responsibility and answered, "You hate me. She was sleeping. It's fine." All of these pieces combined, the adult videos, the drinking, the alleged narcotics, it made his behavior surrounding the shower debate very suspicious in hindsight. Remember this part in the body cam?
I'm standing by. Why can't I take a shower while you stand by?
This made people wonder why Christopher was so hellbent on taking a shower before leaving to the hospital. He was trying to wash something off, like narcotics? Or because he had relieved himself to the adult videos he was watching. And the Schultes family issues weren't completely a private matter. Neighbors also had a lot to say. While some defended him as a wonderful father, others described him as careless and even warned their own kids to never be alone with Christopher. In some instances, they saw his daughters unsupervised or wandering outside, alone. One teacher found one of the daughters in a diaper at her doorstep and brought her back to the Schultes' home, believing it was just a one-time mistake. Another neighbor recalled the middle child getting lost on Halloween. But the final tipping point came from confessions from his 17-year-old daughter from a previous relationship, and those who knew her. It turned out Christopher's neglect stretched back way further. Years earlier, when his eldest daughter lived with him, relatives said her half-sisters were left in the cars all the time. But since the eldest daughter knew how to restart the vehicle, they always managed to survive the heat. She also seemed to insinuate how her parents were not properly watching over the children, describing an incident at just 6 years old when she slipped out of her home and her mother had to pick her up from the police station at 2 a.m. Neglect wasn't the only concern. According to the eldest daughter, Christopher also allegedly laid hands on her, causing physical harm. She also remembered an incident where she thought she lost some cash and was afraid to go home because she thought her father would commit DV on her. Police records show that at least one call was made to DCS and multiple child welfare checks have been conducted at the Schultes' home over the years. After these repeated welfare checks, his eldest daughter was removed from Christopher's custody and returned to her mother. Sadly, her mother passed away later, so a guardian named Lindsay Eisenberg stepped in. In October 2025, Lindsay helped the daughter file a lawsuit against Christopher Schultes for
claims of emotional distress, assault, battery, and fraud the daughter claims she experienced.
Christopher faced even more backlash in his actions leading up to his court trial. In May 2025, 10 months after Parker's passing, while out on bond, Christopher got court-approved travel to Hawaii with his wife and 2 remaining daughters. It was a week-long family vacation, under the condition of no unsupervised contact with children. Prosecutors objected the travel, but the judge still said yes. Naturally, viewers were furious with every person involved. How dare this judge allow him to go on vacation? I cannot believe the lunacy of his wife, to reward her man-baby husband with a tropical vacay. Shocking that this family would even have the desire to go on vacation after they just lost their daughter from a horrific death. You would think this man would be sick inside with his conscience. Some were exhausted with the legal system, believing race or class may have played a part. If he were poor, he'd be sitting in jail. I am so tired of having 2 separate justice systems, one for the rich and one for the poor. I guess you can get away with anything if you have enough money. I hope he gets what he deserves in prison. In fact, during his initial appearance in court in July 2024, the state asked for a $1 million bond. The judge refused to set it that high and instead released Schultes to pre-trial services. One outlet, NY Post, claimed the bond was eventually set to $25,000, but to this day there are no official confirmations what the final bond amount was. Then, in August 2025, a court hearing revealed Christopher may have violated his conditions of release.
By moving to Phoenix 6 weeks ago, the defense said he verbally told a pretrial services officer, and without requesting any further information, the judge didn't push that matter any further.
Not long after his October 2025 court hearing, Christopher was faced with either taking a plea deal or going to trial. If found guilty, he could face life in prison or the death penalty for his charges of first-degree murder. So, Christopher instead accepted a plea deal for a lower sentencing.
Schultes will now be pleading guilty to second-degree murder. Schultes will face consecutive sentences, which means he'll be behind bars for 20 to 30 years.
But 2 weeks later, the unthinkable happened. On November 5th, 2025, the day Christopher was supposed to turn himself in, he was a no-show for his sentencing. His attorney and prosecutors were concerned and emotional, only to receive the breaking news.
Christopher Schultes, found dead last night, the night before he was supposed to turn himself in to authorities for this crime.
He had taken his own life in his Phoenix home, which he and his family moved to recently. For some, this was long awaited, such as the eldest daughter's aunt who said,
"This world is a better place without Christopher Schultes. He abused my niece for years. This is justice."
To the public, this only signaled one thing. Yup, it was never about the kids. It really says everything that he could live with the knowledge that he killed his daughter, but not with being held accountable for it. But Christopher wasn't the only person people were after. There's now a petition to revoke Erica's medical license with over 1,300 signatures. The petition argued, in our Arizona community, Dr. Schultes not only grossly neglected her own children, but continued to support her husband despite his fatal negligence that cost their youngest daughter her life. To allow such a person to hold a medical license sets a dangerous precedent. We cannot allow such endangerment to the welfare of children to go without consequence. Remember, Erica knew Christopher's pattern of negligence. She repeatedly told him not to leave the children in the car, yet still hoped things would change. While some had sympathy for her, others argued she should have put Parker in a daycare or hired a nanny, at least until Christopher got his act together. For many, people couldn't understand Erica, writing, "Women who uphold incompetent men are just as culpable as they are for their sins." This story is a reminder that even though Christopher had many luxuries in life, like a beautiful home, wife, and 3 daughters, he lost it all because of his struggling addiction and reckless pattern of negligence. It's clear that he didn't accidentally forget Parker in the car. He left her there on purpose, just like he had done numerous times with his other daughters. In the end, there's no real justice for Parker. And now, the family he left behind, Erica and their daughters, are the ones living with the irreversible consequences of his choices. While you're here, check out our video on another family that's being criticized, not for neglect, but for their disturbing dynamic. And consider liking, comment.
All right, there's more Spill to watch. Videos.
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches, mattresses.
She walked into the hair salon ready to spend thousands of dollars for the famous Chrissy experience, but everything that could go wrong did.
I think she might have touched my hair for 60 seconds. I'm being so genuinely honest with you.
And her honest review of Hair by Chrissy triggered a media storm that has yet to let up.
It's just really irritating to me. Go ahead, Chrissy. Call it a Chrissy consult. That would make sense. You want to know what else would make sense? If you dropped an entire digit from that. Like deleted the comma.
Ex-employees and former customers are speaking out.
I have bit my tongue for 3 years about this. Never said anything. I kept quiet.
This is Hair by Chrissy, but that does not mean it was done by Chrissy.
Hair by Chrissy, Habit Salon. It's a whole farce, not worth the cost at all.
And Chrissy's response to the TikToker's honest review is what's sending people the most.
Chrissy's response may be the wildest thing I have ever seen.
She's just making it worse.
Now, a fellow hairstylist has fixed what Chrissy's people fumbled and revealed the damage that was done.
I had a bald spot and a sore on my head.
Meet Hair by Chrissy, the stylist who turned a small salon into a full-blown influencer destination. Chrissy Ellingson Rasmussen, an Orange County-based extension and color expert, built her Habit Salon empire on beachy blondes, viral transformations, and a luxury Chrissy touch aesthetic. After more than 25 years in the industry, she became a go-to stylist for influencers, an educator for up-and-coming stylists, and the face of a TikTok page with over 3.5 million followers. Now meet Not Famous, a pseudonym she adopted in order to keep her real name and identity hidden. For the purpose of this video, we'll refer to her as NF. She had been seeing all of the hype around Hair by Chrissy for some time on TikTok and decided that since she had been looking for a new hairstylist for a while who could accomplish what she wanted with her hair, she would give Chrissy a try. But what NF didn't know at the time, this appointment was going to be far from what she had been promised in all of those influencer reels she had seen on TikTok.
First, get your hair done. It's a little bit overwhelming, because everyone's kind of grabbing your hair everywhere. There's like 10 people around you, and Chrissy's nowhere to be found. Obviously, she has a lot of followers, and a lot of people are coming to get their hair done by her, but it was a little bit disappointing to like pay the price that I did for the service. I think she might have touched my hair for 60 seconds. I'm being so genuinely honest with you.
And this continued throughout her appointment. Many people working on her hair at all times, except the person she was led to believe she was going to be paying for specifically.
When you're not famous and you go to Chrissy, she doesn't actually spend time on your show.
Oh, Jesus.
You walk in, she touches your hair,
Hi,
asks
Jay.
you what you want,
Ooh, check out
then
my
she
shirt.
tells everyone what to do on your hair.
And NF explained that the whole vibe of the salon was a tad overstimulating.
Overwhelming, and when I tell you there's so many famous people in there, like there was like 3 girls like filming like a TikTok, and then there was other people getting the makeup done.
Thank you.
I feel like it was very just like TikTok land, and like very like, I don't know. It's so cute. I think it's so cute. But it definitely wasn't my cup of tea because I just felt overwhelmed and there was a lot going on.
Despite all of this, NF knew she would be paying a hefty price for her appointment at Habit Salon. But what she didn't realize was just how high of a price that would be.
And here's the receipt.
That's right. She was going to have to pay nearly $3,000 for the Chrissy service, a service that, again, lasted a combined total of 60 seconds throughout the entirety of the appointment, according to NF, and all for a combined total of a little over $4,216. And people in the comments were completely astounded by this price tag. Girl, you could have gone to Italy for a month for $4K. $4,000 would change my life right now. No, if you paid $4,000, you should have been 110% satisfied. And more so for the fact that she paid so much for Chrissy to presumably do a service that she in fact handed off to her associates to complete. $3,000 just for Chrissy's service when she didn't even do your hair? $3K just for her to be your stylist is actually insane. Please file a chargeback. She charged a $3K stylist fee and didn't even end up being your stylist. You paid for a service you didn't actually end up receiving. When you pay a stylist fee, you're paying for their training, their expertise, their work, not their assistance. But that wasn't all. She also revealed that she had a general idea that the whole experience was going to cost a lot of money and was hoping to keep the cost down by using her own hair extensions. She had even inquired with the salon when she was booking her appointment.
So basically what I texted her assistant was that I wanted to move my extensions up and then dye it the color of my inspo pic, and here's my inspo pic.
3 reasons why the Daily, our all-in-one super supplement, is the best.
Goodbye.
And here's the text that I have between the girl.
Onion soup, a 6 or higher.
So the girl is saying that the new price of extensions can range from $3,500 to $4,500, and I'm saying, oh no, like I want to use my extensions that I have.
And the Habit Salon associate didn't flat out tell NF that she couldn't bring her own extensions along to use, just that they had to be the right color, and then proceeded to let her know the adjusted prices to reflect that. Planning to bring her own extensions, NF then sent over the deposit of $895, which was supposed to be half of the total price. With all of this out of the way, the appointment was booked. But when it rolled around and NF showed her package of unopened high-end extensions, things didn't go as she had hoped.
So I brought these brand new ones, and she opened them up. She was just like, no, these are not good. Like, this is too yellow. And mind you, like, they literally look the same. They literally look the same. Like, they look even brighter and more like my inspo pic. But there was 4 to 5 girls standing around me telling me that it was ugly. And it was making me feel really bad. So I said, okay, look, Chrissy, like, I'll buy the extensions if you can promise me it's gonna look exactly like the inspo pic. And she was like, yes, 100%. It's gonna look exactly like it. Just let us take over.
And when all was said and done, NF was far from happy with how things turned out, and Chrissy's 100% guarantee seemed to fall flat.
When they were blow drying my hair, I was just so disappointed. I was so disappointed. I was just like trying to breathe. There was so much going on around me. I didn't like my hair. I knew I was losing so much money.
And this was all while the girls working around her were saying that it turned out great and looked exactly like her inspo pic, which she didn't agree with.
So not only did I feel like they were being fake, but like they bullied me into buying new hair, which made me feel really terrible about myself.
On top of that, some in the comments couldn't believe that on the receipt it showed that she was also charged for the products as well. Wait, why is detangler on the bill? $40 for the detangler is insane. That whole bottle is $42. I use it at home. What? They charge you for each product? And it turns out there was a story behind that as well.
I had no idea that I bought that. Like, Chrissy literally shoved all of this in a bag and said, here you go. And then the girl at the front rang me up for it, and I was like, oh, maybe this is like complimentary, like, I don't know, like, no, honey, you're buying that now. This is like over $100 worth of stuff.
When Chrissy gave the bag to the girl behind the counter, NF naively thought it was included in the already astronomical price, but that wasn't the case. As you can see from the receipt, NF also tipped for the pricey service that she was unsatisfied with and wanted to get out of there as quickly as she could. But when she attempted to leave, all of that commotion of TikTok land kept her stuck at the door.
When I was trying to leave, there was literally like a girl like filming a TikTok in front of the door, and I couldn't even get out for like 2 minutes because she was just filming a TikTok.
In the end, NF even admitted herself that not everyone can be fully pleased all the time when trying a new hairstylist.
Just didn't meet my expectations how I was expecting it to with the price that I paid. But again, you're never 100% gonna be happy, and it's never gonna 100% be perfect.
But that was beside the point.
I feel like I'm just more upset about the fact that like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get my hair done by Chrissy, and it wasn't even Chrissy who did my hair. Like, she spent less than 60 seconds on my hair.
So NF was coerced into making choices she didn't seem fully comfortable with, into buying products that weren't communicated to her, and it's clear she wasn't given the Chrissy experience even though she paid almost $3,000 for it, according to her bill. A few weeks later, when she was in LA celebrating her boyfriend's birthday, she admitted to his mom that she was feeling really uncomfortable with her hair and had been agitated by it for the whole day. Apparently, the extensions had created a mustache effect where the hairs on the top end of the extension are poking and scratching her head. At the birthday dinner, her boyfriend's mom asked if she was okay. After telling her about her hair and the experience she had had at the salon, his mom told NF that she should make a video about it, just to let other people know what they may expect if they go there as well. She agreed, and throughout her videos, she continued to be respectful and didn't bash the salon or Chrissy, just gave her honest review of what took place and how her expectations weren't met.
I just wanted to be honest with you guys because I've never seen someone do a video like this. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my honest opinion.
Well, her honest opinion quickly went viral. As of the making of this video, her original video sits at over 33 million views. And as she continued making content on the topic,
Style my $4,000 hair with me.
Within days, she went from 20,000 followers to 50,000 to 100,000 to over 200,000 followers and counting. And people overall couldn't believe what they were hearing. For $4,000, I would expect shares in the company. Buy. I would not have left that $50 tip. Chrissy's service for 60 seconds, I'm in tears. Even the woman behind NF's inspo pic chimed in.
You don't know my face, but you definitely know the back of my head. Hi, I am your inspo photo. Here is the photo that I posted on my Instagram in 2024.
She went on to explain that this is her natural hair color and she only uses a few drugstore products to keep it looking the way it does, and that she would not have spent that much herself.
Babe, take that 4K, invest it, buy yourself a Dior bag. Because spending $4,000 on hair has to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
But it turns out that NF wasn't alone, as a number of other former clients came forward revealing eerily similar stories as well, including TikToker Zoe Taft, who seemed to go into her appointment with a tad more insight as to what she would be experiencing.
This is hair by Chrissy, but that does not mean it was done by Chrissy. I went to Habit Salon 2 months ago to get hand-tied weft extensions. Now, I knew prior that going there was an investment. Full transparency, we are aware of the price of the service before going there. We actually are required to make a 50% deposit of the service before even stepping foot into the salon. So before arrival, $2,000 is already out the door. When I arrived, she walked by, she said, "Hi." That was it. That was the only interaction I got with Chrissy herself. She did not touch my chair. I knew when I walked in the salon was packed. I was not getting my hair done by Chrissy.
She also experienced the same overall TikTok-centered vibe of the salon.
Now, what does it look like when you walk in? Picture a content creator's house. There are several tripods set up around the area, all with ring lights, and the mirrors have ring lights, and the mirrors have phone mounts for all the girls to document their content. It was extremely superficial to me right off the bat. I mean, that's all you're looking at the whole time you're there is just people making TikToks. Chrissy is located at whatever video is filming at the time. She pops her head into all the TikToks, as you can see on the page.
And after being asked to share her receipt from the appointment, she revealed that she didn't actually pay for a Chrissy service like NF did.
And as you can see, my receipt says extension installation, not Chrissy service, but the price is kind of comparable.
And others spoke out as well. I went once in 2015 and never went back.
I had my hair done in 2020, not by Chrissy, and I didn't expect it to be done by Chrissy. It was done by one of her assistants. As for the cost, it was $3,000. And trust me, I sit back and I go, wow, that was really freaking stupid to spend that much money on something. Frankly, to me, it's a used car. I could have bought a used car for that. Hair by Chrissy, Habit Salon. It's a whole farce, not worth the cost at all.
I got my hair done at Hair by Chrissy. I never wanted to make a post about it because I feel like I didn't have anything positive to say about it. It was just a very regular salon experience, whereas I was expecting a $900 highlight hair experience. I walked into a salon that felt very cliquey, kind of like high school. I didn't love the energy there. I understand Chrissy charging her prices, like she has built a career and everything, but if she's not the one doing the hair, I just don't understand the high price. Also, she came over and trimmed my hair for maybe 30 seconds. It was more like a dust.
NF and others theorized that had she been a famous influencer, she would have had a more one-on-one time with Chrissy, and she would not have had to pay as much as she did, if at all. And it turns out that this theory wasn't far from the truth after all.
I got my hair done by Chrissy. Yes, I got my hair done by Chrissy. Yes, oh my
gosh. No, I didn't pay. No, it was free. It was free. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It was free. Okay, we did content exchange. So I did not pay for the services that I got. Did Chrissy touch my hair? Yes, she did. Chrissy cut my hair. She curled my hair. Her team as well also did my hair.
And even she admitted that she would not have paid the $4,000 to get her hair done.
I know $44,000 is insane. I wouldn't have paid that. Like, I know that's wild.
But NF's viral video and the conversation it stirred wasn't over, because Chrissy herself decided to clap back at the honest review, though indirectly, and not in a way you would expect a business owner to. Instead of messaging NF privately to address her dissatisfaction with the results of her appointment, she posted a compilation of clips to her TikTok story, showing her doing hairstylist tasks. And since it was a story, it has since expired. NF screen recorded the clip and shared it along with her thoughts.
Yes, Chrissy does hair. Yes, Chrissy cuts hair.
The instant fix for snorers without touching their nose.
Most people waste money on fixes and still end up sleeping in separate rooms.
Yes, Chrissy curls hair. The problem is, she does one curl and walks away. The problem is she does one cut, walks away. In the video, you can literally see it. Like, you can literally see it.
NF went on to explain how Chrissy had come over and put one foil in her hair, one curl, made a comment about toner to her associate, and cut NF's hair, which she thanked her for. Everything else was by a variety of different stylists in the salon. But as the momentum of her story grew, so did the negative comments against Chrissy, and NF wanted to pop onto her TikTok to make one thing clear. She was choosing respect and wanted others to do the same.
Let's not give shade to Hate by Chrissy. Let's not go on her videos and type mean things. I've seen everything and it's still continuing, and I want to ask you guys if we could please stop all of the shade.
She also let her followers know that Chrissy hadn't reached out to her and she didn't expect her to. She wanted this to be her last video and to be able to move on. But it seems Hair by Chrissy had other plans at the time. There was reportedly a video reposted by Chrissy that has since been deleted of someone holding up her middle finger to the camera to Ariana Grande's Break Free, and in response, NF posted one of her own. Only it seems she was only comfortable with giving the digit next to her middle finger. And commenters were letting NF know that Chrissy was doing far more than that as well. She had changed her video thumbnails and display picture to not so subtle nods to NF's video about her $4,000 hair or 4K hair and Chrissy's 60 seconds of work. And as people flooded NF's DMs and with Chrissy's videos, her reposts, and her profile picture, NF made it clear she had had enough.
Y'all saw me trying to stop the beef. You guys saw me being nice, genuine, kind. I'm no more Miss Kind anymore, okay? So honestly, Chrissy, I'm so sorry that a peasant like me, a peasant like me, came into your salon, sat in your chair, was unhappy with the way you treated me and my hair, and then made an honest review about it. And this is how you go about it? I am mind-boggled. I am shocked. Like, she is literally a grown woman.
And people in her comments were clearly becoming ride-or-die allies of NF and her sweet approach to the whole situation. "I am no more Miss Kind," said in the kindest voice ever. "We ride at dawn for you. I can't imagine spending 4K on hair and then being mocked because I didn't like it. I'm so sorry." After this, NF woke up to the news that Chrissy decided to use her hair appointments before and after video on her story and revealed new merch coming. NF couldn't believe it.
I just woke up and saw Chrissy's story and everyone.
I put my mouse ball down.
And this is. Literally dropping a full clothing line is crazy.
That's right, a line of merch. Then, even as NF was going into surgery for a deviated septum, she took the time to share that Chrissy was continuing to post about the situation.
Guys, I'm literally confused why Chrissy's posting our text messages on her story because I literally already posted them. I I don't know what she's trying to prove. I'm literally so confused what she's doing. Anyway, I'm gonna go to surgery now.
And people really couldn't get over how it seemed as though Hair by Chrissy was bullying NF. Imagine paying $4K and then being bullied by a high school mean girl in her 50s. They're so unprofessional. I'm baffled. The fact her page is attacking you is wild.
Chrissy has been doing way too much, but not enough of the right thing. She's done nothing right in this situation. Instead of addressing the honest review in a professional manner, or I don't know, like reaching out to a client that felt inconvenienced, she literally is just posting so many videos like poking fun at the honest review. If you guys also notice, they started posting on Hair by Chrissy like so much. It's almost like they wanted to drown out the negative, but instead, the way they were behaving online was making it worse.
And NF wasn't alone in being treated in a bullying or overall off-putting way by Chrissy either, because a few former employees of Chrissy decided to speak out too amongst the backlash. TikToker Amelia worked with Chrissy's online education programs, Habit Education and Haircation, covering all things social media and customer service.
I worked with them from 2020 to the end of 2022, where I was let go without cause. In the 2.5 years that I worked for this company, I gave my heart and soul to them. I worked my off. I did a great job. They did take care of you, you know, like when you were working with them and you were on their good sides, I would say. They took care of you, they made you feel like family.
But this familial connection withered fast.
I have bit my tongue for 3 years about this. Never said anything. I kept quiet, although I felt I was mistreated completely in this situation. I never said anything.
Amelia decided to bring up the fact that she had been working in extra roles over the previous months that weren't in her job description, but that she enjoyed and wanted to keep doing on the condition that she would be compensated fairly for it.
I expressed all of these to them and was just like, I just feel like if this is how it's going to be, that I would like to be compensated for it. And so I essentially had asked for a raise.
And even though they responded with excitement, agreeing that she deserved one too, everything quickly changed.
12 hours later, 12 hours, no less than, to call me after gassing me up in their home and say that they don't need me anymore. They're done. There was no reason. There was no causation. I had never gotten in trouble before. I had never made a mistake.
But that's not all. It was right before the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, so naturally, Amelia began the process of trying to get unemployment.
And the lady at the unemployment office.
Home Depot hates when you do this, but they can't stop you. So you really want to just coat the whole thing?
Said allegedly that your employer is not willing to, is saying that you left on your own. And that's when I was like, oh, we're done here. I was never family.
Emma, a former stylist with Habit Salon in Chrissy, spoke out as well. She was clear that she did enjoy working under and learning from Chrissy for the 3.5 years that she was there, but it was how Chrissy took her leaving that left a sour taste in her mouth. She explains that she then let them know that it was time for her to branch out on her own, and thanked them for everything. She wanted to send a message to Chrissy to thank her as well, but it turns out that wasn't going to be easy.
But by the time I was home, 35-minute drive, I realized that I was blocked out of the booking system. I was removed from the group chat with all the stylists, and Chrissy and her entire family had unfollowed me on all platforms of social media. The part that really hurt my feelings was when Monday rolled around and they had their front desk girl at the time call all of my clients that were on my books and offered them 50% off their service if they would stay and get their hair done at Habit. This was just a super daunting feeling because it was like I was already scared to branch out on my own. You guys are doing everything in your power to pluck my little feathers. I'm happy to report though that all of my clients did stay with me, 100% of them.
So it's clear NF isn't alone in being treated in a shady and unprofessional way by Chrissy. But some people were so thrown by how Chrissy was tackling the situation that they suggested that NF take legal action. So she let her followers know that she was considering it.
I never signed for her to use my photos, my videos, nothing like that. And now I'm actually genuinely considering suing because not only is she publicly bullying me and using my photos and videos in a place where I don't want my photos and videos to be used.
But would she have a legal leg to stand on? TikToker Samara Lalani brought her mother, who has been a practicing lawyer in California for 31 years, in to give her professional opinion.
My biggest concern was, what was the disclosure before this person went into the salon to get services? Because there's specific requirements for licensed salons in the state of California, and consumer protection laws are in place. There is a code section where a salon would have to post their pricing or their top 15 services and actually post it in the salon.
She added that it didn't need to be every service the salon offers, but the top 15 most popular ones. So if the Chrissy service fee was one of her most in-demand options, she would have to have that price posted in the salon.
It goes down to what was the communication, what was represented, what was the understanding. There's consumer protection laws in place so people don't get ripped off. So that's just shady business practices, or could be viewed as shady business practices.
And about the video Chrissy had posted to her TikTok page of NF's before and after, was she allowed to do that? Well, NF claims not to have signed anything at all, but even if she had, according to Samara, who read a piece of Habit Salon's fine print, the release doesn't even cover videos.
Unless something was signed that we're not seeing here. She doesn't have consent to be doing that?
Well, according to her contract, the only consent she asked for is that we may use this as just a photo.
Whatever NF would end up deciding to do, she did say no more misconduct. So even though she was still refusing to be rude, she was now also ready to play ball, and in the midst of recovering from her surgery, she launched a new merch line of her own.
I'm here to announce the big news, and I'm dropping some merch.
And she had something to say to those who thought it was a strange route to take.
And to anyone who thinks this is crazy or that I'm dragging it out, we all know who started dragging it out and actually made merch before I did. So, how to hop on the trend?
Amidst the raging back and forth between NF and Chrissy, some pointed out that a few years ago, Chrissy and her services faced cancellation from a roaring public. Am I the only one who remembers when she was canceled in 2020? She was literally known as Hair by Crispy in 2020 for frying everyone's hair off. That's right. Back in 2020, Chrissy faced a wave of backlash after clients accused her and her associates of over-processing and basically frying their hair, sparking the Hair by Crispy nickname and a near cancellation online.
She's known as Hair by Crispy. Hair by Crispy. Crispy.
So for me, I am 49,
And many TikTokers weighed in on the current controversy, calling it everything from financial minor abuse.
A lot of these girls are young, very, very young. And in the finance world, there's something called elder abuse, and it's where old people are taken advantage of financially. I feel some kind of way about the demographic of her customers appearing, at least online, to be really young and maybe being taken advantage of.
To a transparency issue.
I think Hair by Chrissy majorly, but not for the reason everyone's posting about. Listen, I think she just exposed herself and her brand, exposed a huge lack of communication, and stripped her business of trust with her audience and a huge lack of transparency. I'm a firm believer that a business, if they provide a quality service and the person is the brand, you can charge whatever you want. You can, but then you have to follow through. If Chrissy had done like, okay, well, I'll do your hair start to finish for even $5,000. $5,000, I do your hair. $2,500, my team that I've personally trained and that I teach will do your hair with my 2 cents, with my, participation. That would have been so much better, so much more transparent and honest.
And even hairstylists themselves gave their perspective. As a hairstylist, baby, you were robbed. As a hairstylist, I'm sick. I've never charged someone over $1,000 for extensions. That's including the hair cost. As a stylist, I'm floored. 200 grams in color equals $500. Was it actually overpriced, or is this actually the going rate to have your hair done in LA at a high-end salon these days? Well, some wanted to put the price tag into perspective. Just putting this into perspective, someone could get lipo with 4K. A blepharoplasty is around 4K. These hairstylists charging thousands of dollars have lost their minds. They are not plastic surgeons. It's a joke. This is 2 of my mortgage payments. Girl, you could have gone to Italy for a month for 4K. Overall, most people agreed that this was highway robbery, but that Chrissy can charge whatever she wants, as long as she's the one doing the majority of the appointment. I'm all for Chrissy charging a ton because of her demand, but she needs to actually do like 70% of it instead of her assistants doing it all. And NF reiterated that this was all she wanted in the first place. This is what I'm saying, I just wanted her to do my hair. But one comment in particular turned this bitter experience around for NF. I sent you a message. But who is Rachel Bynum? Commenters chimed in with excitement, calling her the Extension Queen and an Extension Cosmetologist. She is also the owner of the Texas-based salon, Bold Hair & Co., and posting to her own TikTok page. She shared her thoughts on the Hair by Chrissy drama and invited NF to come join her at her salon.
If you want to come see me, I would love to give you the Bold experience.
And in another video, she put forth a more formal invitation.
Not famous. I want to fly you out to Texas, and I want to bring you here, and I want to change your experience, and I want to give you your hair dream. So me and my team, if you accept, we're gonna fly you out to Texas, and I'm going to completely redo your hair for you and give you a really good experience because that's what you deserve.
And in the comments, NF gratefully accepted Rachel's offer. And when the day arrived, Rachel and her husband picked NF and her boyfriend up from the airport, put them in a hotel, and got them food.
We're giving her the influencer treatment, guys. Full package, the full package, the Bold way, influencer treatment. We want to make her feel like a queen.
They even decorated their hotel room and had gifts waiting for them.
Welcome to Texas.
Wow. 7. Is that enough?
This is awesome.
It's a 7.
And when it came time for the hair appointment, even more revelations came to light on the quality of Hair by Chrissy's work.
When we took out the extensions, there was 2 different extension methods.
The first thing I noticed with the install was the top row was completely installed differently than the bottom row. The top had a open bead method, the bottom was a hidden bead method, and I think this stemmed from multiple people working on her hair. Another thing I noticed was the corners were not stitched down correctly. There was a big gap from the last stitch before the final stitch on the corner, and it left a big old gap. Also her color, guys, she had a ton of dimension through her natural and no dimension through the extensions.
But that wasn't the worst of it.
And when I took out the extensions, I had a bald spot and a sore on my head.
There was a lot of over direction in the first bead that was pulling back and causing a sore. And also she unfortunately did have a little bit of hair loss, and I'm hoping it comes back since it was pretty fresh.
She also revealed that she had an unusually high amount of shedding during the extensions removal as well.
I had to hold it with 2 hands because it was the hugest pile of hair that I think I've ever seen come out of my head.
NF is now comfortable and happy with her hair and vows to return to Texas when she needs a spruce up. Since the viral backlash, it seems Chrissy has removed her posts, reposts, changed her display picture, and gone back to posting her regular content. But it's unlikely the internet will soon forget this one. What do you think? Would you have spent that much to get your hair done?
No.
Stop using ChatGPT and
Ooh, an
Canva
awesome
like
reward,
children's
huh?
toys. Here's how to use them right.
Okay.
So this is how I became the most dangerous person.
The viral donut mom is under fire once again, but this time for a series of new allegations.
This is not okay. There should not be animal feces left around your house unattended to.
It is CPS worthy, to put it very lightly.
Each allegation.
You want to clarify so that, like, about what just happened?
I don't. My daughter. More jaw-dropping than the last.
He accused me of assaulting my daughter,
leaving the internet begging for intervention.
What is happening behind closed doors at this house?
Pretty red flag to me.
There has to be more to this story. There has to be more to it.
We first covered Alexandra Sable, better known online by the not-so-affectionate nickname Donut Mom, last year. At the time, the budding influencer was under fire for what we'll call her creative flair in the kitchen.
I don't think you added enough oil. I think there's like
2 more bottles to the left. Can you dump those bottles in there?
Despite the backlash, some viewers jumped to Alex's defense, describing her approach to motherhood and the culinary arts as realistic.
It's kind of a I don't care night because I don't feel good, and I also don't care what anyone has to say about it. By the way, they're not burnt, they're just crispy. You give us some Cheeto fries because she loves them.
However, currently, there's only one word for the allegations the TikToker is facing: inexcusable. As we briefly touched on in our previous
Mushroom
video,
marinade at
whether it was an
8 or
unwashed
higher.
appliance or a leftover critter on the stove, the conditions in Alex's kitchen weren't exactly up to code. Since then, well, things haven't improved.
Buy the pans that are linked in this video, and I'll consider cleaning my stove off. I better see a purchase for every complainer in my comment section this video.
And the issue extends beyond the kitchen. In September, Alex posted a video packing for an upcoming trip to New York after being selected to walk the runway for the Miss Curvy pageant. Yet, as the mother attempted to show off her organizational skills,
I have outfit 1, 2, 3, and 4 already separated.
viewers were distracted, not just by Alex's supposed fashion crimes,
I have these blue leggings with my shirt that says, if you don't want a sarcastic answer, do not ask me.
but by the stowaways hitching a ride on the TikToker's clothing. Flies. Yes, it seemed Alex had a pest problem. The cause? Well, the bunnies might have had something to do with it. That's right. Alex shared her bedroom with her pet bunnies, and as viewers couldn't help noticing, the droppings they left behind.
This is not okay. There should not be animal feces left around your house unattended to. And pulling out your phone to make a video with it surrounded in your room like that tells me that there has to be a bigger issue going on.
But while the internet might have been critical of the bugs crawling on Alex's bed or what appeared to be the maggots on her dishes, the TikToker's mess was pest approved, or, in the words of one viewer, ignore the haters, mama. The kids and flies are fed, and that's all that matters. Yes, according to the internet, the Donut Mom household was giving more biohazard than home. Yet despite the attempts from fellow momfluencers to intervene,
I feel like you are embarrassed of the mess and that you don't want it to be like that. We told her sooner or later this is going to not just affect you, but affect your kids. And that's why we did it.
Alex refused to acknowledge that there was a problem. Instead, the TikToker denied what she could
No, I don't have maggots. These are all clean dishes. These are the dirty dishes.
and downplayed the rest.
In my room with my bunnies that you guys all complain about. And yes, they do poop on the floor, and yes, it gets cleaned up every single day. But I have a normal mess.
Yep, droppings on the floor and flies on the bed were all part of a normal mess, according to Alex. Or, in other words,
Clutter. That's it. Clutter.
This, of course, was not the terminology that the internet would use.
People also don't believe me that this is like one day of stuff for my kid.
Stop normalizing nasty mom!
It's not the type of environment for children to be growing up in. Alex, we are worried about you, girl.
As much as I hate shaming mothers, I can't stand seeing children have to suffer because of situations that their parents have put them in.
Moms even began showcasing what clutter should look like, which notably didn't include feces.
There is no poop anywhere on the floor, and I have 2 dogs.
Or critters.
Where's all the garbage and bugs?
Backlash like this was nothing new for Donut Mom. In fact, by October, she was already inviting further criticism into her life. It began when the TikToker, to everyone's surprise, agreed to an interview with Mariah Monet, the leader of Mama Drama, a private Facebook group that deals with drama involving, you guessed it, mamas. Alex's reasoning was simple.
I get dragged every single day on TikTok and Facebook. They can't say no worse to me than y'all have. Bring it on. I'm not scared of y'all. I'm not scared of nobody.
In hindsight, maybe she should have been. During the interview, Alex gave Mariah the grand tour of her home, which provided unsettling insight.
What if I told you this dish was actually healthy? Let's be real. Factor's menu is way healthier than the competition. Their chefs actually know.
It is CPS worthy, to put it very lightly.
During the live, it quickly became clear that when it came to mess in the Sable household, no room was spared.
My living room.
Okay. This is your authentic living room.
Yeah.
This included the bathroom, where the tub sat undrained.
It's looking kind of swampy, girl. Not gonna lie. When's the last time the water was taken out of there?
This was actually just last night. I just didn't dump it.
Alex's excuse?
It drains really slow.
Viewers, however, were skeptical that this was the only day-old water they were looking at, prompting a disturbing question. Was Alex reusing bathwater? One user commented, I've forgotten to drain my kid's bath one time, and the water was clear the next day when I found and drained. That's stagnant. I pray she's not bathing them in that. This, however, was far from the only concern viewers had. Others noticed what appeared to be bugs crawling on the tub. Then there were those who drew attention to the risk an unmonitored basin of water could pose in a house full of young children. As one user questioned, what if she's not watching her kid and one of them drowns? If that sounds dramatic, it really isn't. For some families, that's exactly what happens. And when a child is seriously hurt because an adult was reckless, other family members can look at their rights and what they can do to hold the people responsible accountable. That's why so many people turn to today's sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, the largest injury law firm in America. With 1,000 plus attorneys and offices across all 50 states, they've been fighting for the people for over 35 years. And their results speak louder than any headline. In Florida, an insurer offered $350,000, but Morgan & Morgan got their client $12 million. In Pennsylvania, a $650,000 offer turned into $26 million. And another Florida client received $20 million when their last offer was literally zero. And they've recovered more than $25 billion for over 500,000 clients. So, if you're injured because someone else was careless, and that includes incidents involving dangerous trends, you deserve to be compensated. And choosing the wrong law firm can cost you. So, you can check out Morgan & Morgan by scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the description. Their fee is free unless they win. Now, this wasn't the only concerning situation in the Sable household. The toilet was another matter.
I clean the toilet pretty frequently.
Do you ever clean the side?
Yes, the bottom of the toilet was caked in what appeared to be dirt, mold, or worse. Again, Alex came prepared with an excuse.
This side's harder to get to because it's like very narrow. Okay. So I clean that one about once a month, but I clean this side every time I clean the toilet.
So you clean the sides of the toilet once a month?
No, just this side.
Just that one side. Yeah, I definitely can tell it's once a month. Okay.
But viewers had trouble taking Alex at her word. I would clean around the edge of my toilet once a month too, probably. And it looks nothing like that. Safe to say, the rest of the house tour wasn't any more reassuring. These, however, were far from the most disturbing moments to come out of Mariah's interview with Alex. In our previous video, we analyzed clips that exposed a side to Alex's parenting that could be described as cold. And at worst, negligent.
Looks brushed to me.
Instead of focusing on her children, many believe the TikToker was putting all of her energy into making her throuple relationship work.
Someone said there was no way I had a boyfriend. I have a boyfriend and a girl.
Are you jealous because you can't pull two at the same time?
Alex's investment backfired when the relationship fell apart, at least for her. Dee, the girlfriend, jumped ship first, followed by James. By October, the two were married, minus the third wheel. But it wasn't long before Alex jumped into a new relationship, or rather, an old one. The influencer was back with the father of her first two children. Yet as Alex showed off the dates the new/old boyfriend took her on, the comment section had their own date idea suggestion for the TikToker to take better care of her house and her kids. See, according to viewers, Alex's priorities were as misplaced as ever. For example, she found the time to go to the salon and get her nails done, but not to scrub the grime underneath them. She had no problem traveling to New York to strut down a runway, but cleaning a noodle off of her stovetop over the course of 5 days was asking too much. She supposedly found extra cash for Labubu unboxings.
For all the options we can get, I'm super excited for the pink one, the blue one, and the purple one.
But, according to viewers, she couldn't afford to fix the broken window in her daughter's bedroom or provide her kids with AC.
When did I say you could sleep in the living room?
It's always hot in my room. It's always hot in my room. When I
Sleep in the living room. You don't have to sleep in here.
Yeah, but you won't let me sleep in there. It's hot
In where?
In your room.
No, you're not sleeping in my room.
I know, you never let me.
Yet, as concerning as Alex's parenting was to her viewers,
Do you like your eyes? Can I see, Mom?
it was something that happened during the TikToker's interview with Mariah that left the internet truly speechless. It began when Alex's 6-year-old daughter accused her of some seriously unmotherly behavior.
You want to clarify so that, like, about what just happened?
I don't hit my daughter.
Yes, according to the child, her mother struck her. And despite Alex denying the allegation, her daughter held firm.
Excuse me? If you don't stop telling people that.
Did she just say, yes, you do? When I...
Yes.
Jeez.
That is not funny. Do you understand the repercussions that has on me?
No.
That is not something to joke about.
But even when on the receiving end of her mother's rage, the girl insisted.
Shopping can be such a hassle, especially when fit isn't always consistent. Stitch Fix makes it easy with...
You're not joking this time. I hate you.
She's not joking.
I hate you, right? Right. Because you're lying again.
With the daughter refusing to back down and Alex refusing to admit fault, the two were at a standstill.
So she's doubling down on that one.
Yeah, apparently.
You might recall that this isn't the first time Alex has been accused of violence. In our previous video, we discussed a post from a friend of Dee's, a member of Alex's former throuple, that accused both Alex and her ex-boyfriend of committing DV on their children. Alex denied the claims.
James is not, nor has he ever threatened anyone with violence. I always advocate for my kids. I don't hurt my kids. I don't mistreat my kids. I can't imagine talking about someone's child on a public platform because you're upset that your friend got broken up with.
And now that her daughter had voiced similar accusations, well, according to Alex, she couldn't be trusted either.
My 6-year-old has said multiple lies while I'm on TikTok Live that people scream record.
That's right. The mother threw her daughter under the bus, even airing out her personal business for the internet to drive her point home.
You feel like she just liked to put on the show once the cameras started rolling. She like, oh, let me just put on a show. She just like...
No, she always lies. She's 1 strike away from in-school suspension and school for lying to her teachers.
She claimed this wasn't the first time her daughter's lies had sparked a rumor online. From the widespread belief she didn't have air conditioning.
What's the worst rumor that she's made up about you?
That she didn't have AC.
To the truth behind the broken window.
Okay. Yeah, you broke your window.
I didn't need to.
But Alex's attempts to convince viewers that her child couldn't be trusted were in vain. After all, according to the internet, kids don't lie. Other comments included, poor baby probably got struck after the live ended too. And as one user couldn't help pointing out, 6-year-old humor wasn't typically this edgy. Kids that age usually make, like, fart jokes, by the way. Yes, online, it seemed the only one siding against the child was her own mother.
I cannot believe that just happened. I am so upset that she came on live and lied like that. And the fact that everyone's going to spin that. She literally said afterwards that it was a joke. But everyone's gonna take that part out of the clip.
She said after when nobody could see it or hear it. I had a mom
Alex
like that
did,
too.
however, admit there were times she
You're
was
full of
physical
shit.
with
I
her
never
daughter.
hit you.
Have you
Okay.
her at all? I have popped her hand. I have popped her butt.
Yet she maintained
I have never hit her in her face.
Alex also made a
it's
point
okay,
to
'cause I don't punch her
clarify
in the
that she
face.
only punished her children
That what?
physically
Oh,
when
okay.
they were physical first. You know, tit for tat.
Okay, she hits her sister. She's getting hit back. Right. Okay. Do you honestly think that you can teach a child not to hit someone by hitting them? No.
Shockingly, this wasn't the biggest bombshell to come out of the interview. No, that came when Alex opened up about a rough patch in her current relationship. According to Alex, when she briefly separated from her current boyfriend, he decided he wanted custody of the kids, and he went to an unimaginable low in an attempt to secure this.
He accused me of assaulting my daughter.
Yes, you heard that right. Alex's current boyfriend accused her of SAing their daughter, and there was one word in that sentence the internet couldn't get past: current.
Why did you take this guy back? Like, that's actually so sick. If he is making something like that up, his phone, his computer, his hard drive needs to be checked, because who the flying comes up with a story like that about your child?
Clearly, Mariah had the same reaction.
Girl, this man accused you of assaulting your daughter to be petty, and you are with him now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you really need therapy very bad.
According to Alex, her boyfriend claimed their 3-year-old son went to his house and made a motion with his fingers, claiming Alex did that to their daughter.
Like opening her. And he also said that she had a cigarette burn on her ankle.
As for how Alex found it in herself to forgive the person who accused her of the unthinkable, well, according to the influencer,
Well, he apologized.
Girl, he said, I'm sorry?
Alex claimed that after testing her daughter and talking to her son, CPS
Found absolutely zero proof that I had ever done anything like that, because I never have and never would.
Despite eventually forgiving him, Alex claimed she was angry at her partner for a long time. Angry and suspicious.
And for a while there, I actually thought maybe he was doing something, because, you know, if you accuse someone of something, most of the time you're doing it.
And while the visit from CPS was enough to put Alex's suspicions at ease,
They tested her, so obviously she had never been from either side, so.
it wasn't enough for the internet. Not even close.
For a child to give specific details and do the hand movements, little kids like that should not even know nothing about that.
Is it just some weird, sick, twisted lie to get back at one another? Like, pretty red flag to me.
It is seriously giving that y'all are telling on each other.
What is happening behind closed doors in this house?
So, while Alex tried to move on from the interview like nothing happened, even posting her children at a pumpkin patch the following day, viewers couldn't just forgive and forget. In fact, some were so disturbed by what was potentially happening in the Sable home that they contacted CPS, leading to a house call.
So I found out after my interview with Donut Mom, CPS did show up at her house and no, they did not take her kids.
See, since CPS was already aware of the allegations, nothing was done.
They knew everything that was going on. They knew about all the rabbit poop all over the floor. They knew about the kids being like neglected. They knew about all the roaches and maggots in her kitchen. And they knew about the SA allegations between her husband and her.
As Alex's critics, or as the TikToker refers to them, her stalkers, demand action, Alex continues to share her life online, consequence-free. This includes her relationship, which appears as solid as ever.
We got Burger King.
Yet while Alex brags about the way her partner takes care of the pets and children, the internet has 2 words for this content: damage control. And unfortunately for the TikToker, so far, it isn't working.
I genuinely believe that it's abuse to allow your children to grow up in hoarding filth, bugs, animals, no space for them to play, locked away in a room so that it doesn't affect your life. And I'm struggling with it because I think something should be done.
There's a lot of problems within yourself that need to be healed so that you could be the mom that those children deserve.
There has to be more to this story. There has to be more to it. Am I wrong for feeling that these allegations should be seriously investigated?
While you're here, check out our video on a holiday merch drop that has the internet spiraling out of control. The Starbucks
Alright, that was the last one to spill, right? Okay. Alright, that was some fucked up, somber shit. We're gonna watch Charlotte.
Returned from a work
Charlotte!
The #1 trick to lift saggy boobs forever. You put your bra on first thing in the morning.
She was mad her best friend looked too good at her wedding. You smell that? I smell Bridezilla. The title of this story is Am I the A-hole for telling my sister she should have expected to be outshone by her best friend at her wedding?
Hey everybody, welcome back.
Throw away because I don't want any family members finding my real account. My sister, Anne, 29 female, has been best friends with Ruby, 30 female, for as long as I, 25 female, can remember. So growing up, Ruby was like a second big sister to me. Sister. One thing that is important to note is that Ruby has always had the most outrageous fashion sense possible. She's the person that would wear those runway outfits you think no one would actually wear. Okay, so she a little camp. Gotcha. Anne got engaged pre-COVID. Almost as soon as it happened, she started being really weird to Ruby. When she made me maid of honor, I was kind of surprised because they've always sworn to be the maid of honor at each other's weddings. But I'm her blood sister, so it wasn't that weird. But I was completely blown away when she made a group chat and I found out Ruby wasn't even a bridesmaid.
What?
Best friends? And she's not a bridesmaid. Both me and my mom tried to talk to her about it since we figured they had an argument or something, but she would only say that Ruby didn't care anyway. I know Ruby was hurt, but she didn't want any drama, so I agreed to let it go. Throughout the whole wedding process, my mom kept asking Anne if she would invite Ruby, if she would ask Ruby's opinion, etc., etc. But Anne refused to have any contact with her or talk about anything related with her whatsoever.
This is strange.
Why? What happened? I'm like kind of hurt for Ruby. Like I understand she like dresses really like out there and stuff, but like what exactly happened between them? Or did anything happen? And does your sister just feel some type of way about Ruby? On Saturday, my sister was married. She had a beautiful outside, socially distanced wedding, but she was seething the whole time because of Ruby's dress. It wasn't at all outrageous by Ruby's standards, so I don't believe that she wanted to outshine my sister. She wore a quite simple wedding dress, but that was her choice. As maid of honor, I of course went to her fitting, and that was literally the one she chose. And, you know, you have a right to wear like a simple, elegant wedding dress. If that's what you want. A lot of brides choose that. Anne has been cursing Ruby out and saying that their friendship is over ever since. Like she hadn't been ignoring her all through lockdown.
Doesn't make sense.
I feel like the friendship was over, honestly, when your sister chose not to include Ruby in the wedding party. Finally, I just said that she's been friends with Ruby most of her life and she knows what she dresses like and that she should have expected this. If it was that much of a problem, she should have found a way to mention it to her or just made her a bridesmaid. I mean, making someone a bridesmaid so you can control what they wear is like kind of
psychotic.
Kind of sus. I mean, yes, that would have been a solution to the problem, but like, why are we policing what people wear now? Like, if she looked nice, that's the only thing that you should be worrying about. I fully believe that Anne compares herself to Ruby and doesn't like that Ruby looks better than her. Anne lost it with me. She sent Ruby some really horrible messages after she screamed at me. She didn't say a word to me all of yesterday, but she's bad-mouthing me to our dad, who is on her side. What side? What side? What side is there to take, honestly? Like, I just... You should be happy that people showed up and showed out for your wedding and wanted to look good for you.
Ungrateful.
My mom has told Anne that she should apologize to Ruby for the nasty messages she sent and for yelling at me, so Anne isn't talking to her either. I don't even know what's going on, but Ruby swears on her life that they didn't even have an argument or anything pre-COVID. Anne says it's none of my business and I should be supporting my real sister. Loyalty is not blind, okay? Loyalty, like, you can support someone, but I also would argue when your friend or family member is sort of acting out and, like, not behaving in a way that's right, I would argue that, like, telling them the honest truth shows that you care, too.
The sights, the sounds, the styles.
Honesty's the best policy.
I wouldn't say that Anne is behaving in a way that's like respectful right now. There's some sort of deep-rooted jealousy going on here, and Anne tried to make Ruby small by not including her in her wedding party. She's resentful for some reason.
Resentment?
Check. My dad agrees with her, and she rallied the other bridesmaid against me. So I don't know. Am I the a-hole? I just I genuinely don't get this sentiment that unless someone is going out of their way to wear white to your wedding or wear red because they are having an affair with the groom, it's really not that serious, No one, and I mean no one, will outshine you on your wedding day unless you let them. I just I fail to see it. I genuinely fail to see it. Unless you are someone who wants all of the people around her to be uglier than her. There are times in life where your friends or your family members or your co-workers or whatever are going to look good.
Believe it or not.
That doesn't make you look worse. What does make you look worse is how you behave. Okay, to clear some things up, Ruby didn't wear a wedding dress or anything really outrageous. It was dark red, it was a bodycon dress and a satiny material. There were lots of people in form-fitting dresses, the bridesmaids were wearing them, and she didn't look out of place. Edit again, some of you are ridiculous, assuming the absolute worst case scenario, it wasn't a spaghetti strap dress that barely covered her butt. It was an appropriate length and had long sleeves. Let's just get that out of the way. If this needs saying twice, the bridesmaids were wearing bodycon dresses. So were many other guests. It wasn't a particularly traditional affair. No one was offended by our figures. Ruby's dress didn't massively stick out. Ruby is very attractive. She always has been, but I never thought it was an issue for Anne before. Ruby and Anne had been best friends for 25 years. They didn't grow apart or anything. They stayed in constant contact even as adults. And then Anne suddenly wasn't talking to Ruby anymore. My mom and I weren't trying to be controlling. We were worried. We assumed that something really bad happened for them to cut contact overnight. When Anne refused to talk about it, my mom was only more worried because she's normally an open book. I don't love Ruby more than Anne or anything like that. The only reason I'm so close to Ruby is because Anne used to be so close to Ruby. They were basically inseparable, so I grew up tagging along after both of them. Of course, I love Anne very much. I just think she's being unreasonable in this situation. Ruby was always going to be at the actual wedding. The phrasing was bad on my part. When my mom was suggesting that Anne invite Ruby, it was to wedding prep things like dress shopping. And lastly, I don't know if Dave, the groom, has feelings for Ruby.
Quel scandale.
I've never thought that. They've met many times and there's never been any signs that he does. I definitely do not think it's an affair because then surely my sister wouldn't want to marry Dave and neither would want Ruby at the wedding at all. Ruby doesn't have a history of going after Anne's boyfriends or crushes. Something happened. Something happened. I wouldn't be surprised if it was related to the groom making some sort of comment telling Ruby she looked good or something.
That would be crazy.
But let's get to the update. Based on some of the advice I'm receiving, I was going to tell Anne this morning how much she means to me and that I'm there for her. But she's seething again, so I'm not trying to. Dave asked if I could talk to Anne because they've also apparently had a massive fight because he tried to defend Ruby on the wedding night. He asked me if I could explain where he misstepped and how to make it up to her. This is the first time he's ever asked me for help with their relationship, so he's clearly at a loss. I said I was just as confused, and we didn't even know why she wasn't in the bridal party, so he should just try and talk it out with Anne. This is where things get weird. Oh, God. Dave said the reason Ruby wasn't in either wedding party was because he wanted her as a best woman, and Anne wanted her as maid of honor. But Anne wouldn't budge and said they should just drop her from both parties to be fair. Okay. He said that she explained it to Ruby and that's why they had a fight, because Ruby wanted to be included. I said okay and just hung up, but the more I think about it, the more confused I am. If they had a massive fight about Ruby being maid of honor, surely Ruby would remember. Also, I don't know why Dave would want Ruby as his best woman when, to my understanding, he only met her after he started dating Anne. I really am taking your advice to not meddle to heart, which is a nightmare because now my curiosity is totally piqued, so I won't bring it up. It's possible that this is all I'll ever know, and this will bug me to my grave, but I made a vow to not push Anne anymore. Thank you everyone for your comments. Thank you to all the not the a-hole people for reassuring me I'm not the one acting crazy. Thank you to all the helpful you're the a-hole, everyone sucks verdicts that helped me see how I could change my behavior in the future to be a more supportive sister. Reading the posts, it's kind of like, to some degree, I get her not being the a-hole, but I also get some of the people that are saying like, I mean, you shouldn't have just told your sister that,
well, obviously your friend looks better than you.
You know, I think in a situation where someone could be feeling insecure about that, that, even if they're being incredibly unreasonable, you could say, like, you looked incredible. Like, you looked absolutely amazing. I don't know where this is coming from. Like, I barely even noticed Ruby. It's kind of stupid. Anne is being silly. She's being silly. We don't really know what happened. Was it fair to tell her that, oh, well, like, obviously she looks better than you? I don't know. With the context of Anne kind of behaving weirdly, maybe it makes sense, but at the end of the day, I do genuinely feel like this is really a silly thing to be upset over on your wedding day.
I can eat in them. I can fly.
Truth?
The fact that this is even a problem is really, really silly. Like, now, instead of being happy about her wedding, Anne is just somehow so fixated on the way that her friend looked at her wedding that she can't even enjoy this momentous occasion.
That's not good.
It's really silly, and she's doing it to herself. I hear a yakety sax while reading your post. Was the wedding held under a huge red and white striped tent? Were there elephants and jugglers? Anne sounds like the ringmaster of the show, not the a-hole. Making Ruby a bridesmaid or maid of honor would have been the obvious solution here. Then Anne literally would have been able to dictate the dress code. The fact that Anne is seething over some faux dress gate during what should have been the happiest time of her life does not bode well for her marriage. Where's the groom in all of this, if this is what the honeymoon looks like?
Oh, jeez.
OP responds, it's a groom. I guess we'll call him Dave. I didn't mention it because he's basically staying out of it. He's met Ruby quite a few times since she and Anne used to be so close, but obviously he's not going to take Ruby's side since Anne is his wife. I imagine he's bored of hearing her rant about it by now, but that's it. Not asking Dave to side against his wife, the latter of the whole for better or for worse thing seems to apply, but still, Anne letting herself get worked up over this means the shine of getting hitched can't be all that bright. Lots of brides aren't the dressiest at their own weddings. Who cares? They're the bride. It's not like Ruby rolled in wearing a white dress veil and carrying a bouquet of Kaya lilies. That just goes to my point. Like, it doesn't really seem like Ruby wore anything to upset Anne deliberately. So maybe the feedback of like, dude, you're kind of being a little nuts is warranted here. But we have an update. Update 2, I'm even more confused. Dave called me 30 minutes ago asking me in a very angry tone of voice if any of his groomsmen behaved inappropriately toward me. I asked what, and he said again. I could hear Anne in the background shouting something. I said they had been perfect gentlemen at the wedding and I hadn't had any contact with them since. He then asked me if Ruby knew that she was meant to be best woman. I said not to my understanding, but it was possible that I didn't know, as both she and Anne had been quite secretive about what happened between them and that he'd be better off asking them themselves. He laughed and hung up.
I'm so confused.
Okay, Anne really gotta, like, be honest here because this is getting annoying. Like, I bet you anything she's not being honest because it's something embarrassing. Ruby has texted me asking what's happening and if I knew about the best woman maid of honor thing. Just now, I got a message from one of the bridesmaids saying if Dave calls me, I shouldn't answer him. Anne is on the phone with my dad, screaming, it sounds like. I have no clue what's going on, but I think somewhere in this mess is the truth of what actually happened. Everything seems to be exploding. I now think that the bridesmaids, or at least that particular one, are involved. And if things keep happening at this pace, I think I should eventually find out what in the flying is happening. I'm just as confused as OP. This is a cluster, for lack of a better word. Update 3. There has been a lot of shouting and tears today. Honestly, I'm exhausted, but so many people have commented for the update, so here it is. I'm still kind of in shock. Anne has been lying to just about everyone. The story is very complicated and long. This list is actually what I use to wrap my own head around it. It's all the facts I have in chronological order. I'm gonna need a sip of water for this one. Number 1, Dave has been to jail and is an ex-addict. He met Ruby before he met Anne. After he recovered, he was really struggling with money and Ruby helped him a lot. He considers her to be one of his closest friends. Okay, that I guess explains the whole fighting over her being maid of honor thing. 2 years later, Dave was doing well at his job and was much more stable and functional. Around this time, Ruby introduced him to Anne. 3, Anne was very reluctant to have a relationship with Dave because of his past, but she had strong feelings for him. Eventually, they began dating, but she was still ashamed of the person he used to be. So she told us they met over a dating app. Dave consented to this at the time. 4, as Dave became more comfortable with himself and their relationship became more serious, he told Anne she needed to be honest with us about his history. She agreed to tell us, but she didn't. She told Dave that she wrote a fake letter from my family about how we were really grateful for his honesty and accepted him. She told Ruby that my parents had reacted badly, so Ruby never brought it up with Dave or my family because she thought it was a very sensitive topic. When Dave proposed, Anne started freaking out about the wedding. Dave wanted people from his support group to be there, Ruby as his best friend, etc., which would expose the lies. But she still didn't want to tell us who Dave was or that Dave had lied to him, so she decided to continue lying instead of coming clean.
That's an insane web of lies.
So, Anne pretended to be really upset that she couldn't have Ruby as her maid of honor so she could make the argument that she should be dropped from both wedding parties. She told Dave that she had explained her decision to Ruby and Ruby had taken issue with it to keep him happy. In reality, she knew that if Ruby knew she was meant to be best woman, it could easily get back to me and my mom and then raise questions from us about Ruby's relationship with Dave. So she didn't tell Ruby anything at all, and that's why Ruby was so confused about what happened and couldn't think of anything. Anne told Dave and all his friends from his support group that they shouldn't mention the addiction in speeches or even casual conversation because it was a sensitive subject for certain family members before the wedding.
Lies, lies, and more lies.
She told bridesmaids, significant others, many lies about Ruby. She told them that she had the habit of causing scenes, that she was going to try and sleep with the groomsmen, that one of them was an ex-boyfriend of hers that dumped her, that she would get way too drunk. Essentially, she painted Ruby as a disaster waiting to happen so the bridesmaids wouldn't like her, and also so that they could keep her away from certain people, specifically the ones that also knew Dave at the wedding.
Freaking wild. Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now, Mint Mobile is offering you to get 50% off unlimited, which our set decorator, well, took pretty.
Circus tent is right. Anne also told the bridesmaids the only reason Ruby was invited is because I idolize her, so they wouldn't repeat any of the lies she told to me. This is very manipulative. All because you're embarrassed about your husband's past. This massive circus because you're embarrassed about your husband. After the wedding, Anne put on her enormous meltdown about the dress. The bridesmaids obviously didn't have a positive opinion on Ruby, so they were easy to convince that it was meant to be a genuine slight. My dad did what Anne apparently expected everyone to do by caving immediately because she was the bride. If me and my mom had done the same, Anne would have used it as an excuse to cut Ruby out of everyone's life.
What the hell?
She tried to do the same thing with Dave's groomsmen by insisting to him they had said inappropriate things about the bridesmaids. The idea was to basically remove anybody that knew the truth about Dave from the general social circle so it wouldn't come up again. Dave smelled a rat. He asked exactly what the issue was with Ruby's dress and what exactly his friends had said. Anne panicked and accused him of not loving her, choosing his friends over her, etc. And it turned into a massive argument. Dave was mad and suspicious, so he started calling people, trying to figure out what happened.
Smart boy.
This is not a good way to start a marriage. I would be so upset to find out that my significant other did not accept me and my past. A couple of bridesmaids said that Anne was telling the truth about the groomsmen. She asked and pressured them to, but most were kind of weirded out by their request, and I think they successfully got that across to Dave. He called me to ask if I knew what was going on. Anne told Dave I was just like him, caring about Ruby more than her, and also that I wasn't there when it happened. But the timing of the story didn't match up, so Dave called me anyway. That was the weird phone call. At this point, she knew she was spouting BS, so he asked her up front what was going on. She broke down and told Dave everything. He was fuming. He texted us all to let us know about his past and then basically kicked Anne out. She came to us where she then had to explain again everything.
Serves you right.
This is a lot. Listen, if you're upset about this kind of past with your partner and you're willing to like hide it from people to this extent, I would argue that this is not the right relationship for you.
My therapist says.
Like, if this was my partner, I would honestly be so proud of how far he had come. At the end of the day, he is what he is. He has that past. So, if you were so embarrassed by it, why did you marry him in the first place?
Touché.
Anne is absolutely shaken. I've never considered her capable of this kind of deception. It is deceptive and manipulation, and I don't think she's ever done something like this before. Contrary to what some commenters seem to believe, I don't hate my sister. I feel sorry for her, even though I'm really hurt by what she did, because she feels so guilty and absolutely miserable because she's worried that things will never be worked out with Dave. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. No one wants to know that their partner is like ashamed of them to this extent. She's gone to bed now, very upset because our mom won't even look at her. She's fuming that Anne would deceive and hurt her and so many other people like this. I do understand where she's coming from. My dad is also very shocked and hurt. Anne texted Ruby. She sent her a message explaining and apologizing, but obviously Ruby is really angry and upset. She just told her that she couldn't speak to her right now, but maybe she'd call her in the morning once they both have a chance to calm down.
Sounds reasonable.
Dave is probably the most hurt out of everyone, and I understand why. He wouldn't speak to Anne, but he did tell me that he really thought he had our acceptance, and that the letter she had written to him had been his most treasured possession ever since he received it. And to find out it was false was absolutely crushing.
Breaks my heart.
I told him we did accept him for who he was and nobody blamed him, but I didn't think it helped much. He has asked for distance from our family, and I understand why. I'm not sure he'll be willing to speak to Anne again, or if he wants to be her husband after this. I wouldn't blame him if he goes on to find someone else. Thanks, Reddit. It turned out everyone was way off base, although I don't think anyone could have predicted this. I definitely could not have predicted any of this. This is way far out of left field. I can understand complicated feelings of like being embarrassed about your significant other's past, but going to this extent to like cover it up with your family members is just plain cray-cray.
Have you lost your mind?
Like, it's just plain cray-cray. And the truth always comes out. I don't know how she thought that this would just stay under wraps. Especially, you know, with like this whole weird dress thing. Dude, weird. Quite frankly, if this is how you felt about your own wedding, like, it doesn't surprise me that it's, you know, the marriage is probably over. So we have one more update. The past 2 weeks have been very stressful. Anne and my mom have been fighting and crying for most of it. We learned that this deception of Anne's was not out of the blue. She's had this obsession with her image for a very long time. She confessed to a lot of stuff from secondary school and her job. Some of it was worrying, and some of it was really scary and manipulative. I feel so distant from the person she's become. There's tension between us that I'm not sure will ever go away, even though it really pains me as well because she's my sister.
This sucks.
Ooh, okay, so the lying seems to be a little pathological, perhaps. Once my dad heard of some of the revelations, he decided Anne should go to a therapist. Anne really struggled against the decision, which led to a massive fight between her and my dad. I've never seen my dad so angry. Neither has she, which is probably why she eventually agreed. The therapist is supposed to help Anne process her emotions after everything that's happened, and also hopefully get to the root of her problem.
I didn't believe I'd ever lose those last few pounds until I stepped on the scale. Factor is my favorite hack for losing weight sustainably with restaurant quality food. He's chef
Roots. You know, roots.
A lot of the comments suggested our family wasn't healthy in the way we interact with each other. I'm conflicted on this because, on the one hand, me and my mom were right that something was very wrong. But then that doesn't mean we didn't behave badly, if that makes sense. So I suggested family therapy. My parents are looking into it. Hopefully we can learn a bit more about boundaries and each other and eventually move on. Anne has been talking a lot to Ruby. From the sounds of it, Ruby's still very upset. But I have been taking the advice not to meddle so much in their relationship, and I'm leaving them to it. Me and Ruby still speak a lot, but not about Anne.
The drama.
Dave sent a message 2 days ago that I think has sadly resolved this very terrible situation. After learning that this is a pattern of behavior, he doesn't think that he wants to be in a marriage with Anne at all, as he feels she hasn't only hurt him deeply, but deceived him about the type of person she is. Yeah. I mean, imagine that, you know, you think that you like really love someone and that they've accepted you wholeheartedly, but on the other side, what's actually happening is that they're literally lying about everything to everyone. It's like, who are you even married to at that point? Who is this person?
Who are you?
You don't know how to trust them. Like, quite frankly, I don't know if I would want to be with someone like that either. I know from Ruby that he's also seeking therapy and has confided in friends about what happened, so he has a strong support system around him. I'm not getting involved with him other than that, as I think he deserves distance from my family after everything, but knowing he's okay does make me feel a little better. Anne has taken this news badly. When she first got the message, I think she had a panic attack. She was breathing really quickly, shaking, and crying. She knows Dave learned about her past from Ruby, and she's absolutely furious with Ruby for telling him. He had a right to know. Enough with the lies, okay? No more lying. Basta. Finito. She's just as preoccupied with the thought of being someone divorced as she is with the fact that Dave is leaving her. Yeah, it's very much about the image, right? Like, I don't even think that it's really even about Dave anymore. It seems to me that your sister Anne really, really cares about people's perceptions of her to a fault.
I am not okay with fake smiles.
I really hope that the therapist helps her get better, and although I'm not taking it as hard as my mom, I do feel guilty for not noticing this sooner because she's just not well. Yeah, no, there is something pathological about Anne and the way she chooses to move, and I do think she needs therapy to get to the root of why she cares so much and why she feels the need to lie so much. She's not gonna ever be happy until she gets over it, and I would also argue that maybe there's a bit of an addiction to lying as well.
Lies, lies, lies.
Maybe she saw her addiction to lying as sort of similar to Dave's addiction, and that's why she fell for him. But at the end of the day, it's like Dave was honest about who he was, and she wasn't. And there's something to be said for that, right? So are you the a-hole for telling your sister she should have expected to be outshone by her best friend at her wedding? I think in hindsight, being outshone by her best friend was the least of her worries. Not the a-hole.
Subscribe!
It's the kind of thing you wear on a date
I
night,
am.
a brunch with your friends, or honestly.
Am I overreacting for losing my mind over this note I found in my fiance's pocket? Me, 29 female, and my fiance, 30 male, have been together for 3 years. Yesterday, he was out with his friends and came home a bit late, and we argued about it too. Tonight, we went out with our friend group and it was a bit cold, so he gave me his jacket. I went into the bathroom and found this note in his jacket pocket. I confronted him about it and he said it was nothing. He told me he found the note under his coffee cup the night before and didn't even call the number. He said I could check his call history if I didn't believe him, and I did. Yes, he didn't call the number, but why did he keep the note in his pocket? Am I overreacting for confronting him about this? So here's the note. I normally don't do this, but you've been staring. And then there's a phone number. Staring. I would call this a red flag. Not only did he keep the note, but also staring? That's 2 red flags in one. Me no likey at all. I would feel strange. It's one thing to have the note. Like, why even keep a note if you're not planning on calling the number at some point? The fact that he was staring to the point where this woman wrote a note and gave him her phone number. What you staring for? I'd tell my wife immediately when I got home if this happened to me, but my wife isn't going to start an argument if I got home a bit late. I would definitely be a lot less likely to share this detail if we argued as soon as I got home. Something I meant to share as a funny detail of my night to share would seem like a trigger for another round of fighting instead. So some people said, exactly, I would put it in my pocket to throw away and then forget about it. I wouldn't tell OP because I'd be afraid to, and when they'd find it, I would say it doesn't mean anything because it doesn't, and then just try to move on with as little fighting as possible. But at the same time, what's with the staring? Why take it when you could just as easily put it on the table and leave it there? Nobody's forcing you to pick up a note with someone's phone number on it. I got a note like this a year ago. It's pinned to our fridge. Wife thinks it's hilarious. I mean, I'm glad that you guys are able to laugh about it, but does the notes explicitly state that you were staring at somebody else? I mean, I think I would argue that staring at someone that isn't your partner kind of gives that person the go-ahead to think that you're interested. There's 3 red flags in total. 1, he kept the note. 2, he kept it a secret. 3, the note says he was staring. So no, you're not overreacting. Do with that info what you will. We got some more Am I Overreacting relationship drama for you. Am I overreacting for thinking my boyfriend is just looking for an excuse to break up? 31 female with 33 male, dating for about a year. He asked me a while ago for items that I might want as a gift, so I sent him the wish list I use that probably has 15 to 20 perfumes. He was sweet and got me 3 bottles, but they were from Dossier and not the real product. I think it's very sweet, but I want him to save his time in the future because I don't want dupe products, I want the real ones. But he took it the wrong way, and it gives the impression he's just looking for a way out anyway. There are plenty of other things on my list that are cheaper, not brand name, serve a functional purpose, etc. I think his big overreaction is just him looking for a way out more than anything, but I wasn't gonna egg him on in text. Our relationship has been completely fine and normal. I am the higher earner than him, which he said doesn't bug him, but maybe it does. I don't know. Thoughts? Okay, so we have some text.
So I wanted to talk to you about the gifts if you have a minute.
Sure. What's up?
It was really sweet of you to get me the perfume, but in the future, please don't get me dupes from like Dossier or Oak Cha. I know it seems like a bargain, but when I say I want a perfume, I want the actual perfume and not a knockoff.
Is it because you want the label?
Not exactly. It's more like the dupes are inferior products with less longevity. They don't always smell the same, and yes, the packaging too.
You know, you don't have to go all out and get the really expensive bottle. Getting a dupe, it doesn't guarantee that it's gonna smell the same or look the same.
It was so much cheaper to just get the Dossier ones. Does it really matter?
Unkibble, regular kibble.
Just get her something else.
Freeze-dried raw.
Kind of. Like, yes, it's the thought that counts. I wouldn't go and get a fake thing for someone. Honestly, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of his money to do that.
It matters to me because they're luxury items that I'm saving up to get or reward myself with. So if you don't want to get me the real stuff, it's okay. You can always get me other stuff.
See? Okay.
I don't know. This is rubbing me the wrong way. It seems kind of superficial and bratty to throw a temper tantrum over not getting the brand name item because someone wanted to give you all of the ones you wanted.
People want perfumes, like specific perfumes, because they have a specific smell. Getting a dupe, it's not gonna smell the same. It might be made with shittier ingredients. I think at the end of the day, it is a waste of his money to be getting a dupe that OP isn't gonna be using.
I even read reviews to see what other people thought and they all seemed okay with it. So maybe this is how I find out you're a lot more superficial than I thought.
She's not throwing a temper tantrum. I think that she's being pretty diplomatic about it. Like, if she wants to get herself a dupe, that's one thing. But if she has something on her wish list and you go and get something that's a dupe, I can't help you there. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a cop-out.
No.
Even if you don't want to get the full-size bottle of a perfume, you can
tell
get
you what I
smaller
want.
versions that are cheaper. I don't think that she's throwing a temper tantrum. I think at the end of the day, it's like he's spending money that he doesn't need to spend when he could be putting it toward something that she actually wants. Like, instead of 3 dupes, he could have bought one that's like legit.
Whoa, I'm not throwing a temper tantrum
Allergies.
at all. I said thank you and just asked for future instances that you skip the perfume. I'm not mad or anything.
You kind of are, to be honest. When I say
right.
I want a perfume, I want the actual perfume and not a knockoff. Is toddler level temper tantrum.
I would argue that he's the one throwing a temper tantrum now.
I'm kind of disgusted by this because in my mind you were not like this, but to find out you are is unsettling and unnerving. I'm worried I'm wasting my time.
I don't understand why he's getting so bothered by this.
Okay, why don't we talk about this in person? I don't know if I'm just coming across harsh or what, but I'm not upset that you got me perfume.
No, I don't know if I want to see you at this point.
Oh, that escalated.
I went out of my way to 1, look at your wish list. 2, think about what you have talked about. 3, pick several items from it. 4, get you the exact product just in different packaging from a less trendy company. 5, get berated for it.
That's the thing. It's not the exact product.
At this point, I'm just fully disgusted. If you got me store brand mac and cheese instead of Annie's, I wouldn't say I'd accept it gracefully, but you just had to open your mouth.
He took it really personally that, you know, he kind of cut corners and got you the cheaper version. And he's taking it personally that you're calling him out.
I think there's a disconnect here because I'm not trying to berate you.
No, what you're doing is telling me what I got you isn't good enough for you, and you care more about the name on the package than the scent.
She's also saying that you got her something entirely different than what she asked for, though. He's also, like, not listening. She didn't say, like, get me a dupe of this perfume. She said something specific, and then he went and did something completely different. And now he's confused as to why she's, like, telling him just don't do it in the future. This is a listening problem. It even goes to like engagement rings, for example. If you tell your partner something specific of what you want and they go and they get you something completely different, you're let down about the whole situation. Like, I specifically told you what I wanted and you went and got something else. No.
I said it was sweet of you to get them for me, but I'd rather just save to get them myself as a reward. Because that way, seeing them on my shelf is a reminder of what I accomplished.
Nah, how about I just never get you a gift again?
You're literally not even following the instructions. Like, she's making it so easy for you to just follow the instructions. And then you didn't follow the instructions and you're mad because she's like, dude, you didn't fucking follow the instructions. She made it so easy. She literally put them on a list for you, dude.
After you just spat in my face and told me my gifts weren't good enough because they don't come in some fancy bottle. In fact, I think I just saw the real you finally, and to be honest, I'm just disgusted. I don't think you're the right kind of girl for me if you care more about brand names than what's inside the box.
I don't know very many girls that would be okay with telling their partner something specific that they wanted and getting something completely different. It's a listening problem, you know? She's literally spelling it out for you and you still didn't listen.
That reminds me of all these superficial Insta whores, and it makes me sick.
I feel like this is more about the fact that he can't afford the real thing. I think that's what this is about.
Wow, I'm sorry for saying anything.
Yeah, I bet you are, because now you show your hand and I see the real you and you thought you could hide it forever.
Bro, like, it really ain't that deep, but clearly it is that deep for him. His reaction is very telling. He's insecure about the fact that he would rather get you something cheaper than what you asked for. It's not really something that you can go and get a dupe for. It just really isn't. I love a good dupe. Don't get me wrong, I'm a dupe girly. Take that information how you will. I love a dupe, but if I'm asking for something specific and you go and get me something fake, it's not even worth it at the end of the day. Holy crap, I thought these were teenagers. 33 and doesn't know crap about perfume. What a romantic. Oh, honey, I saw you really liked apples, so I got you an orange. What do you mean they're not the same? They're both fruit, you ungrateful ho- No, literally, how is that any different from what this conversation is about? He's training you that if you criticize him at all or aren't grateful, even when he got you something that wasn't what you actually wanted, he'd play the victim card, claiming you're throwing a tantrum and berating him. So in the future, you'll just smile and be quiet. I would tell him that he showed his hand, you're disgusted with him now, and that you see how he really is. Yeah, he's conditioning her to kind of like accept less than what she wants. I really do believe that it is that deep. Because like, what the This is spot on. My ex was like this. They're essentially claiming to know better than you about your own desires. You're only allowed to express happiness for whatever crumbs they throw your way. Anything else means you're difficult and too high maintenance. I don't think it means that you're difficult or too high maintenance or superficial or materialistic to want like specific things. You know, some people genuinely have a passion for perfumes or for fashion. They enjoy that. I especially get the passion when it comes to like perfumes and like cologne, because it's like you associate certain smells with like special occasions. Mike's very passionate about cologne. I'm not as passionate about perfume because he wears certain colognes on certain days. Like he wore a specific cologne on our wedding day that he got in the area, and he only wears it on special occasions, on our anniversary or something like that. It's like sensory, you know? The smell like evokes emotion in you. People are very passionate about scents. To get something that's like a dupe, first of all, it might not be made with the same ingredients. They might be made with cheap ingredients. You're putting those on your skin. They might not last as long as well. Perfumes are expensive because they last. 3, they might not even really smell like what they're supposed to smell like. This reminds me of a fight that I had once with an ex. I was really excited to go to this bar. I'd heard great things about it. A 1920s style speakeasy in Toronto. It's called Atois. For those of you who are in Toronto and you're looking for like a cool place to like bring someone visiting or a date night or whatever, and it's this really special spot that's like behind a champagne bar. It literally feels like you're walking into a time machine. And I'm so passionate about the 1920s, and I'm so passionate about time and history. I went there on a date with my ex. We got into the speakeasy and I was sitting there, and you know, the cocktails are a little pricey. It's not a cheap place to go, but you're paying for the ambiance and the thought that's like put into it. It really is like an experience. I'm so passionate about this bar. Anyways, so I loved it, and I'm sitting there just so beaming with happiness, enjoying my cocktail, so happy about it. And my ex sat there and he picked a fight with me. He just, started to go on and on about why enjoying nice things is stupid, that he would rather just order Uber Eats and stay home. And like, he couldn't let me just enjoy this very simple thing like a treat. He could see that I was so passionate about it. He wanted to condition me to not like those things because he couldn't provide those things. I genuinely feel he was trying to make it so that I wasn't used to that kind of lifestyle because he couldn't provide that for me. I didn't need him to provide it for me. Happily sat there and drank my cocktail and paid for it. I genuinely think that's what it was about. Surprise, we broke up and I ended up having my engagement party there. For those of you who say I'm not actually petty, believe me, I'm petty. You just don't hear about it all the time. I love that story. So we do have a little update.
We have to talk about plans for my mom's on Thanksgiving.
Wait. Am I missing something? I thought you guys weren't together anymore.
Are you ignoring me? I'm not mad about the perfume stuff anymore. I get that you're into brand names and all that stuff.
I'm not mad about the perfume stuff anymore.
What do you mean? Like mad? So the fact that that was not a breakup conversation and he was just saying it is full-on manipulation.
I'm just not used to being with girls who care about that stuff. It caught me off guard.
OP responds,
I think it's time we break this off and both go our separate ways. I just don't think I can trust your reaction and how you spoke to me.
yeah. He like berated you on multiple levels, called you materialistic, like an insta hooker, like because you wanted a brand name perfume. Like, give me a break.
What the F over one fight where I kind of got upset?
Okay, let's not minimize it. You were an a-hole, for lack of a better word.
Are you serious? So I'm not allowed to say anything or react in any way when you basically spit in my face for not buying you brand name perfumes that are $500.
Hang on a second. His reaction was so far from anything respectful. This is not how you talk to your partner. If he had feelings about it, he could have talked to her in a way that was much more respectful than that, but he didn't.
Oh, I can't react.
No, you can't react like that. It's like when you call a guy out for like, so I saw that you like liked this girl's Instagram photos, and they're like, well, fine, I'll delete Instagram then. That, I would argue, is a red flag.
You care more about a label on a bottle of perfume than you do our relationship and everything we'd done. You won't even admit that you were wrong.
If anybody was really wrong in this instance, I would say that it's for sure him.
The fact that you still think it's about brand names when I told you it's about how you spoke to me is enough for me to know that this is the right decision. I wish you all the best.
Enjoyed being alone for the holidays. Single at 31 is pretty much as pathetic as it can get.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you did the right thing, OP. I also wanted to highlight that something that OP said in the comments. No, I did not ask him for a $500 perfume. None of the perfumes on my list, the list that he asked for, were $500. He would have had to see the name of the perfume on the list, ignore the direct link to where it could be purchased, and look it up to find a completely different formula. And again, this is a list he asked for that included everything I want to buy, from perfumes to pants to charging cords to a new snow brush for my car. And like, furthermore, again, you can buy smaller versions of like expensive perfume. I actually prefer to buy the smaller versions first to like make sure that I like a perfume. So just so we're clear, OP didn't ask for $500 perfume. She sent him a list of a bunch of things on it that he could have picked, exact links and everything, and he still chose to get something that wasn't on the list. I think case closed. I don't think you're overreacting. I don't think he was just looking for an excuse to break up. I think that he was trying to condition you into accepting less than what you deserve. Can say firsthand, and whether that's because he doesn't want to provide it or because he can't provide it, remains to be seen. I don't know. I know in my experience, it's because he didn't want to provide it, nor couldn't. Rude. Thank you. I don't think he was looking for an excuse to break up. I think that he was trying to manipulate you and condition you into accepting less than you deserve. There's construction going on like near my house. And like, I swear, I wake up every morning at like 7:30 to this like why is it that when construction is going on, they literally do the most loud things first thing in the morning? Like the rest of the day, it's silent, it's quiet. Good morning. Am I overreacting by how I responded? My boyfriend is upset with me for skipping my workout routine today. Context, I'm going on 10 weeks pregnant and honestly just exhausted most of the time. I used to go to the gym regularly, but now with how I've been feeling, I haven't had the motivation to work out as much. I've had a few friends that are pregnant or were pregnant recently, and like, I'm pretty sure they took like afternoon naps like every day. First trimester is supposed to be the hardest for being pregnant. That's when you're usually morning sick and very, very tired. I would be shocked if you were able to maintain a regular workout regimen during that time. My boyfriend got upset with me this morning because I said I would be skipping again. We talked about this before I became pregnant and made an agreement that I would try to maintain my mental and physical health. He sees this, amongst a few other things, as me falling back on my word. It led to these texts with him calling me toxic and depressing. Am I overreacting, or is it him that's being insensitive to what I'm going through? I think it's easy to make promises to like want to have an active pregnancy when you're not pregnant. I think that kind of goes out the window when you are pregnant and you literally can't get out of bed. Anyways, I'll hear you out.
Morning, beautiful. Don't forget that shake. It's gonna help you a lot. Trust.
Thanks, babe, but I don't think I feel like moving around too much today. I'll probably take a walk tonight if I feel better. Everything hurts, and I'm...
LOL, really? You shouldn't have morning sickness anymore.
I'm sorry, are you a doctor? And regardless, even a doctor is not going to tell you when you do and don't have morning sickness. And maybe it's not even about the morning sickness. Being pregnant is a very big sacrifice, okay?
If that's the case, then we need to get that checked.
I'm still sore, okay? And you know I slept like crap last night. And yeah, I don't think I'm keeping the shake down anyway. I don't want to deal with this right now.
Okay, so she is having morning sickness.
Look, I know things aren't ideal right now, but we haven't got to the hard part yet, and you're already giving up. Just putting it out there, I'm concerned.
She's just pregnant, dude.
At least try to stretch, and I'll come rub you down on my break.
I'm giving up because I don't feel like working out today. Yeah, I already see how today is gonna go, so please stop talking to me. No, I don't want you to rub me down on my break.
What the hell do you want then? I'm trying to help you out and be accommodating, and all I get is tantrums and BS from you. What have you done for me?
Excuse me? You're reading wrong. Show me your book. I'm gonna take a picture of it.
Be so for real right now.
Bet you can't even remember, because I sure as hell don't.
I'm sorry, are you the person gestating a literal child in your uterus right now? How is this about you?
Just stop, babe. Like, I get you're trying to help, but certain things like this make me feel worse.
What is this fixation on wanting you to have an active pregnancy? Like, I know it's like healthy to do that. It's obviously not gonna be easy to do that. Is it about weight? I feel like this is him trying to ensure that you don't gain too much weight. Just saying.
That's cool. You're better off not playing the victim role and feeling sorry for yourself, because you know that's my biggest pet peeve.
Your girlfriend is pregnant. She is the victim. She's very vulnerable. Hate to break it to you.
Exactly what I'm talking about. Holy crap, you're so inconsiderate. It's insane. Like, do you even hear yourself sometimes? Here comes the gaslighting.
I fail to understand why he's even picking a fight with you. All you said is that you don't feel like working out.
We're arguing because I'm trying to help you. I swear you're toxic as hell. This is getting depressing.
Whatever.
No, he's absolutely being insensitive to what you're going through. To a certain extent, I can understand you wanting your partner to be healthy, but at the end of the day, he's not the one going through it. He should be protecting you and lifting you up and going to get you whatever snacks you want, because pregnancy is pregnancy, all of it is a massive, massive, massive sacrifice. No dude will ever understand fully, but all they can do is be there for you, try to make you feel beautiful and loved, and feed you nice things. Be a supportive partner. If you don't feel well enough to exercise, you should not exercise. He has no right to tell you what to do. Pregnancy is draining and it makes you feel unwell. His first response should have been, is there anything I can do for you? See, I actually liked this whole like, oh, like I'll come rub you down when I get off work sort of thing. That should have been what he said initially. Or like, can I do anything? Can I get you a snack? I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Like, I'll come rub your feet later. Like, that is what a supportive partner says. Not shaming someone because they don't feel well enough to work out when they're pregnant. I wish he led with that, honestly. Oh my God, I'm 10 weeks pregnant too, wife of a gym manager and personal trainer, and my husband would never speak to me like that. I haven't been able to go to the gym for almost a month and honestly only move about because I have to take care of my older kids. The morning sickness doesn't just disappear at 10 weeks, and pushing it at this stage isn't healthy, especially if it doesn't feel right. You'll have plenty of time to get back on track later. Sorry your boyfriend seems to severely lack sympathy and is pushing you for what reason? Just tell him to shut the hell up. He has no idea what your body's going through. Sorry I got extra worked up on your behalf. Hang in there. No, it does, like, it works me up too. It really does work me up because, like, I just don't think, it's just so hard to, like, fathom what it's like to be pregnant if you're not pregnant or if you've never been pregnant. Okay, someone else also pointed out, I bet 100% he's worried about your shape after the pregnancy. There's certain situations where obviously it's nice to be pregnant and be active. At the end of the day, if you can't do it, you can't do it. I fail to understand why he's so steadfast in this. I've actually heard that being too active when you're pregnant can result in a lot of issues, especially if you're really not feeling well. This is it, 100%. He cares more about keeping you fit and not fat than about your well-being in pregnancy. I'm at 37 weeks and trust me, he'll have plenty of opportunities to call you a victim if he keeps this mindset. I guarantee you, it's about her body. Good luck to you, OP. You are not overreacting at all. I'm sorry that you're having a baby with someone like this. He seems to be having a bit of a temper tantrum. Protect your peace, okay? It's not just you need to worry about here. Subscribe!
We pretty much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers and dressers, drawers, couches,
She tried to steal my husband at work. I got petty revenge. Hey everybody, welcome back. This story was posted in the Charlotte Dover YouTube subreddit. The title was Petty Revenge on a Woman Who Worked with My Husband That Wouldn't Take a Hint. Hey Reddit, so I'm already aware I might be the a-hole here, and quite frankly, I don't care. We love a self-aware queen. For the record, this happened 3 years ago, but the topic came up recently during a girls' night. I'm now 29 female and my husband is 29 male. We'll call him A. And he used to work at a small restaurant supply chain with my brother that is no longer open. They were bought out by a bigger company and they closed the branch. The shop only employed about 5 or 6 people per branch at a time. The manager, 3 office workers, and 1 to 2 warehouse delivery drivers. My husband had, at the time, been working in the office front for almost 1 year, alongside my brother, 31 years old. My husband started as a delivery driver and worked his way into an office position. When he was promoted after working there for 2 years, they hired 2 new people to take over as warehouse and delivery drivers. One of them was a 24-year-old woman. We'll call her Susan. Susan? I used to meet my husband at his work for lunch about 3 times a week and even sometimes bring him breakfast before I went to work, so I was well known at the office. One day, when I stopped by for lunch, I noticed my husband was laughing and rolling his eyes at something my brother had said. When I asked what was funny, my brother said, just telling A how it seems someone might have a work crush on him. You don't say. With that information, I tilted my head in confusion to ask what he was talking about when in walked Susan. She stopped in front of me and smiled politely at me. I smiled back and introduced myself as A's wife. She didn't like that, did she? Her smile slightly dropped, and I caught her glancing at his left hand where his wedding band sits. She's only just now realizing, oh, how are you not embarrassed? That's literally what wedding bands are for. I'm sorry. But, like, you know, people can take them off, but at the same time, like, let's be checking. Let's be checking the things. Honestly, it doesn't really stop people a lot of the time. But anyways, I digress. She excused herself, saying she had an order to deliver by the end of the day, and turned to my husband and told him,
I'll talk to you later.
He ignored her and pulled me into a hug. She looked a bit put out by it. My husband told me she'd been asking him questions all day since she moved into that position, and he was getting tired of it. But his manager told him to explain tasks to her when she ran into an issue so their customers would still have their orders. Apparently, she's been finding any excuse to come ask him something since she started there a few days before. For the record, my husband had a picture of us by his computer on his desk and as his lock screen. Okay. Little Delulu then. He was also very proud he wore me down because I'm out of his league. He didn't actually wear me down. I knew after our first date I was going to marry him, as cliche as that sounds. I love a good cliche. My brother backed him up on this by telling me even he thought it was excessive. We changed the subject and sat down for lunch. As I was leaving, Susan came into the break room to ask my husband for help with putting an order in. He told her he'd help her and gave me a kiss goodbye. I smirked because I knew exactly what he was doing. Right in her face, eh? Love that. I thought that would be the end of her trying to get my husband's attention. I was wrong. She started gradually becoming more flirty with him, even when I was in the room. Ooh.
Have you no shame?
I'm not embarrassed. My husband told her he was happily married, and she said,
Oh, so am I.
That's not something to be proud of, babes.
It's so great having someone at home waiting for you.
Yes, Susan is married with 4 kids. Bombastic side eye. My husband spoke to their manager, but she would still find a reason to ask questions. The manager also didn't put much into what A was telling him, so she continued to try and get my husband to pay attention to her gradually and boldly. My husband continued to remind her he was married and then ignore her advances. I have my brother who told me most of this. My husband just said she wouldn't leave him alone. It went on for about a month. At this point, it's becoming like workplace harassment. I don't really see why their boss isn't taking it more seriously. If it was a woman, they would be. My breaking point happened over 2 incidents in 2 days. The first one happened when we were all standing in the office talking and joking around. She had made a comment directly to A, looked at my husband for a response, and he wouldn't even acknowledge her comment. She was embarrassed and looked down. She apparently decided to take it up a notch. The next day, I had to pick my husband up because his car was in the shop, and I got off work earlier than he did. I went inside, and he was getting things closed down and set for the next day. He smiled and kissed me.
Ew, gross.
We all turned around to walk out the door at the same time due to setting the alarm. In order, it was the manager, my brother, Susan, me, and then my husband. As Susan walked in front of my husband and me, I noticed she had the viral waffle leggings from TikTok that are supposed to make your butt look huge and that show absolutely everything. A little inappropriate for office attire, I might say. Gym attire, that's fine. Office attire? Not so much. And the girl had enough nerve that she was swaying her hips walking in front of us in what I can only assume to be a spicy manner. I immediately looked at my husband and he wasn't even paying attention. Just so oblivious. She glanced back and caught my eye, then stopped. I saw red. Wow, she bold. She bold. Do you notice how it's like so subtle that like it's not overtly like something that you can...
The sights,
you want
the
to fight? I'll
sounds,
fight.
the styles. Get tickets at Ticketmaster. Nick.
Corner her about and be like, please stop swaying your hips in front of my husband because then you look like the psycho. It's so calculated.
Come see, come
she
saw.
knows what she's doing. It was at that point I got to work planning my revenge. Since she had turned into the boss's golden girl, I had to be careful so it wouldn't backfire on my husband. So the next day, on my way to meet A for lunch, I made a phone call. You don't say. Yes, some might say it was a bit much, but I highly disagree. Since the manager didn't care, I called the corporate office that was across the street. I pretended to be a customer, a very offended customer. When they answered, I asked to speak with someone about their employees. They transferred me to who I can only assume to be the HR department.
No, this is Patrick.
She answered and asked what she could help me with. I said in the fakest, sweetest Southern Belle accent that I could come up with, yes, I was wondering if you have a professional dress code for your delivery drivers or if they're really allowed to dress like OnlyFans creators. This is messy. For the record, I have nothing against OnlyFans models because it's just a way to make money. So don't come at me about it. Just don't try and get my husband. I don't share. Fair enough. She stumbled over her words and assured me they had a dress code, to which I responded, well, I don't think they follow it because one of your drivers showed up in those TikTok leggings. You know, the waffle ones that are supposed to make your butt look big and you can see each cheek outlined. I don't feel comfortable with that because I have customers who come in and I don't want that to be what they associate with my company. Having the Southern Belle accent really does paint a picture, doesn't it? When I tell you I heard an oh my god and a mortified gasp, I did. Apparently, it was on speakerphone and the receptionist who transferred the call was in the room. This is delightfully petty. She asked what company I was with, and I told her I wasn't comfortable giving that information out because I didn't want them to retaliate. She apologized multiple times for that and assured me it wouldn't happen again. She asked me if I knew the girl's name, so I described her and stumbled with names for a minute, saying that I thought it was Cherie or Susie or Sam or something, and when they asked, was it Susan? I suddenly acted like I remembered her name. I told her I had a customer coming in and I had to go, but I wanted to know if that was the kind of business I should expect. She assured me that wasn't the case and it would be addressed. I find it interesting that they're taking it, okay, mind you, this is like the corporate HR office, but it's interesting that this company takes it seriously when it's like their bottom line that's at stake, but not when it comes to like their employees feeling uncomfortable in their own workplace. Side eye. I hung up and turned onto the road my husband worked on. I'm not kidding. I walked in 3 minutes later and Susan was in the manager's office with the phone on speaker. Apparently they had a talk with her about their dress code.
Susan?
I asked my husband and brother what happened, and they said they didn't know. HR called and wanted to talk to her. I tried not to smile while being satisfied with myself. She never bothered my husband after that. We found out from a friend that she's now divorced.
Oh, there's a big surprise!
Her husband found out she cheated on him with at least 2 guys from her office job the following year. My husband and I are happily married and expecting our second child together in the spring. So that's my petty revenge story. Girl, you are petty and you moved in the shadows. I gotta be honest. I'm normally not a fan of like judging women on like what they wear. Like I will just say that. I don't like to judge women on what they wear. You do have to have some propriety in an office setting though. Like it's just the way it is. You did take matters into your own hands and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have done that if she, you know, left your husband alone. Quickly Googles TikTok waffle leggings. TikTok waffle leggings. I don't think I fell victim to this trend, but I did see them everywhere. These ones. They like contort and twist with your body. It's fine for the gym. Your butt looks really nice. I will say that a lot of them ended up being like kind of see-through though, if they weren't like good quality. My search revealed that Shein calls these booty crack leggings. Yeah, they do go right in the crack. Right in the crack! It's interesting that she stopped flirting with your husband. Like, I feel like she knew it was you. Because why would she stop flirting with her husband after they told her to, like, not wear the leggings? My worry is that it would come back to hurt you, but clearly it didn't, and you do have an update for us. A few things I wanted to respond to from some of the comments. Some of you think this story was made up. I can assure you it wasn't. She was the golden girl who did no wrong in the boss's eyes, and I wasn't sure the extent of what she would go to in her attempts. Some people will lie and say they were harassed if they didn't get their way. I've seen it happen. The boss would have covered for her if he went above his head, and possible retaliation would have happened. For those of you saying I'm insecure and controlling, if your significant other constantly was either ignored or told someone to stop harassing them to no avail, I'm sure you'd do something also. I didn't want her fired, just someone else to step in so I didn't cause backlash on my hubby or brother. I mean, you got a point. I'm sure that you tried a bunch of other things to get her to stop. I'm sure he also tried a bunch of other things to get her to stop. I would have preferred if you, like, somehow booby-trapped her, for lack of a better word, so that the boss, like, firsthand witnessed the flirting in some way. But I digress. You did what you had to do, and clearly it worked. We have some more work petty revenge stories coming right up. Our toxic nightmare boss thought she was untouchable. She was wrong. This happened back in 2018. I, female 18 at the time, was just starting my freshman year of college. I had already been working for a couple of years, as it's possible to do that in my country with a special certification that allows you to work with children. Think summer camp counselors, etc. From the age of 17. I knew I had to keep working through college to support myself and quickly found a job as a counselor for a local agency. This meant I would be working part-time at leisure centers and local schools. My best friend Emma, female 18 at the time, got the exact same job from the same agency and we were super excited to work together. Now let's talk about our nightmare boss, who we'll be calling Susan. Another Susan.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited, which our set decorator, well, took pretty literally. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. Okay, Mint is still premium, unlimited wireless for a great price. We're festive, we're not reckless. So, that means a half day, yeah? Yeah, I'm gonna go with yeah. Okay, leaving, nobody's stopping me.
I
I found something way fresher than takeout.
Cook Unity is a lifesaver for my insane work schedule.
The meals are approved by a nutritionist.
And made by top-notch chefs I've watched on TV.
Plus, there are literally dozens of diet filters and cuisines.
And all my cravings are delivered right to my door.
Today, you can get 50% off your first week. Sign up and thank me later.
Susan and Susan!
Susan was your typical a-hole boss who would exploit broke college kids who made less than minimum wage without cutting any slack in return. But on top of that, she would straight up ignore basic labor rights, verbally abuse people who work for her, and regularly spread fake gossip on everyone around the team. She was a treat. Not a sweet treat. I would call it a birthy box every flavor beans snot flavored treat.
Anything off the trolley, dears?
Everyone on the team was unique in their own way, but we all had one strong thing in common. None of us could stand Susan. Back then, I really took pride in having good work ethic and would always give 200% when at my job, regardless of how I was treated. Don't worry, this quickly changed once I started working in customer service, but that's a story for another time. I truly believe this was also the case for most people on the team, as the kids loved all of us and all of us would go above and beyond for them to have a good time, despite having to deal with Susan's BS on a daily basis. All in all, an amazing team that she didn't deserve in any way. It's funny how having like a horrible boss creates wonderful friendships. Not with the boss, with the people. Like, misery loves company, you know what I'm saying? I would argue that having a horrible boss or having a horrible job in general is like one of the reasons why people like start smoking, so they can go outside and have a break and talk It would probably take around 10 business days to list all the effed up things she did, but let me list a few so everyone can get a clear picture of her character. She once yelled at another coworker on the phone for calling in sick because he was stuck in bed passing kidney stones, and after he insisted he wasn't coming in, she spent the entire day spreading rumors about him. One of them being that he cheated on his girlfriend, which wasn't true and almost cost him his relationship. It like reminds me of when I did have like an office job, and like when people did call in sick, the that was talked about those people was actually insane.
No.
Like no one believed that they were sick. It was more like
family
a
to buy you
I bet
food.
you're
Fuck.
sick. I bet you're sick.
I'm busy.
I guess people were jealous that they got to stay home. No, I don't think that's motivated by that. I think it's more just like she has to now do some work to make up for the fact that someone called in sick. She once led a cooking baking activity with a group of kids that resulted in the kids having semi-permanent staining on their hands from the food coloring, and gave everyone who ate some a stomach bug. And she blamed it on the counselors when the parents came to complain. Yes, she was incompetent on top of being a witch. Wonderful combination. She once got mad at one of our coworkers because he got appendicitis and couldn't come in for his shift as he needed to get emergency surgery. He came out of surgery later that afternoon, and she drove up to the hospital herself to pick him up so he could work that night.
Okay.
Even though the surgeon said he needed at least a couple of days of bed rest. I'm pretty sure that you need more than a couple days of bed rest after you get your appendix out. Like, you literally just had surgery. Like, are you kidding me right now?
You kidding me? Are you kidding me?
She failed to disclose that one of the small kids was allergic to strawberries, and when she inevitably came in contact with some, when they were served for the afternoon snack, and the mother threatened to sue, she again blamed it on us, and specifically one of the counselors she didn't like. The little girl was okay, she just got a rash, and the mother eventually thankfully let it go. She once took back at the very last minute an afternoon off she had granted for Emma months before. She'd asked for it to be able to travel to visit family, and her, Susan's, only justification was she didn't remember granting it. She refused to look at the screenshots of the conversation Emma was trying to show her, literally turning her head away, and she threatened to fire her if she left.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Honestly, at that point, like, just leave. Like, literally just leave. Her flight was later that night, and she had taken her suitcase into work with her that day to be able to go directly to the airport. I spent 10 minutes in the bathroom with Emma consoling her as she was crying, and she couldn't afford to lose the job, but she hadn't seen her Polish grandma in years. And we both got written up for showing up slightly late for lunch duty that day. Yeah, okay, so she sucks. She sucks the big one. Although we let all of this happen at the time because we were all young as frick, needing to pay rent and didn't know how to defend ourselves against constant threats of losing our jobs, the resentment was rising to a point where we pretty much were all looking for a way to get back at her in some way. And the opportunities that followed did not disappoint. I just failed to understand, like, everyone has a boss, you know what I mean? I really, really hope this petty revenge is satisfying, because, like, I need that. My soul needs it right now. Because apart from being an absolute crap bag of a human, she was also incredibly incompetent and very sloppy at her job. This meant she would violate several regulations when it came to supervision ratios, safety measures, food temperature control, etc. She was careless about the way she delivered her little dictator orders, which meant we had a lot of her unreasonable illegal requests in writing. On the contrary, she never really asked any important stuff other than orally, or made us sign anything when she wanted us to commit for something. So where am I going with all this? We all decided to f her in 2 ways. The first one was rather simple. She asked each one of us if she could count on us to keep working over the summer. Schools would be closed, but the main leisure center we all worked at would be open 6 days a week under her management. This would save her the trouble of having to hire an entire new team for summertime, which is the busiest and most lucrative time of the year for that kind of agency. And it can actually be hard to find people willing to sacrifice their summer like this when they could go on vacation with their friends or do 50-hour weeks with good wages and tips at a resort on the coast. We all said yes, but like I mentioned above, she never made us sign anything to commit to this.
It's the kind of thing you wear on a date night, a brunch with your friends, or honestly just to feel like that girl.
And their spray is the perfect.
You thinking what I'm thinking?
You left her hanging behind. And you best believe that none of us had any intention whatsoever on spending their summer working for that monster. The second way presented itself in the form of one of my college friends who happened to casually mention one night when we were having drinks that her mom worked for the local labor inspection authority. Really? Oh, that's interesting. Do you reckon she would be interested in inspecting some of the Suzanigans that we've been dealing with? So I bet you can all guess what happened. We patiently waited until the very last day of our fixed contracts that were set to end on June 30th, taking care not to discuss or mention in any written format that we had agreed to work over the summer, in case she wanted to come after us. Meanwhile, Susan was getting excited, filling up her registration list with dozens of kids and planning the summer program. She also started warning us that there would be zero tolerance on work absences, and we should expect longer, unpaid hours as we would be way over capacity over the summer. Shocking. I just don't understand, like, how some people think that, like, a workplace environment like this is something that people want to return to. There's so many jobs out there. So many jobs out there. Why would you make the lives of people who work for you absolute hell? It's only gonna come back and bite you in the ass. Because at the end of the day, if they're disposable to you, then they can leave. But they're not so disposable, are they? As we expected, she waited until the very last hour of the very last day to print out the summer contracts and have us all signed to start the next Monday. She had even bought a pack of beers to celebrate together, which would break my heart, but no. It doesn't. As she was busy in her office, all 14 of us quickly grabbed our stuff and headed out. We probably had caught the tram down the street before she realized we were all gone. And I wish I could have seen her stupid, confused face when she found the staff room empty and none of us there. Of course, she quickly tried to call and kept trying to call every one of us throughout the evening and over the weekend, but we let it go to voicemail. That night, we went out for drinks to properly celebrate, and then all got to peacefully start enjoying our summer while daydreaming about the massive pickle she was in. At the time, I had no idea if she managed to put a team together in such short notice, but I got a call from my college friend after a few days letting me know that her mom had paid Susan a visit. Oh yes, the mom that works for the labor board, I remember her. We'd all gathered all of the written traces we had of anything sketchy or illegal she ever did while we worked for her and sent it to the inspector mom, along with our statements about the working conditions, harassment, safety hazards, etc. I actually didn't find out for months what happened in the end, but we eventually got closure later that year. Susan had not managed to find enough people to fill our spots in time, but opened the leisure center anyway on the first day of summer holidays. I think she had something like 5 or 6 people actually working, including herself, which is ridiculous for the amount of children she had coming in. She could have been able to make it work if she had enough time to BS the parents, quickly hire more people, and get organized. It would have just been a hazardous mess for a few days. If it wasn't for our inspector mom who showed up that Tuesday morning, as you can imagine, it was a catastrophe. The agency was shut down on several counts of severe safety rule violations and other Suzanigans. She had to liquidate all her assets, got a pretty heavy fine, and was banned from ever reopening an agency in that field of work again. Meanwhile, I went on on a trip to Eastern Africa that I'd been planning for months, and Emma finally got to go visit her family in Poland. To this day, it remains one of the sweetest tastes of revenge and justice I have ever experienced. And I never let any of my future employers walk all over me after that. Thank God for labor boards. Thank God. I would honestly argue that there's places like this all over. All over. It is so unbelievably common. It's almost like they instill the fear so that you're so afraid to like do anything about it. But in this day and age, you really gotta be very incompetent to let it get this bad. Am I the a-hole for letting my coworkers quit because I got fired? A regular offered me $100 to take a shot with him. He's been drinking at the bar I worked at for over 10 years. I worked there for 4 years. I made a shot with sour mix and cranberry to match the color of his, so he thought I was taking one. I just want to make the extra money. My manager happened to see this on the cameras. There's a strict no drinking policy at this bar for bartenders on the clock, and it's a new manager who's trying to show her authority, so she made an example of me and fired me. There is no way to prove that there wasn't booze in my shot. I saw the footage, and with the liquor gun we have right next to the pop gun, there's no way to prove I didn't pour liquor in that shot. Brutal. I didn't even know that bartenders could do that. Wait, so you're telling me that every time I asked a bartender to have a shot with me, they probably just drank water?
Betrayal. Honestly, I tried the new bearskin hoodie, and here's the truth. This fleece is thick. It's made from 300.
I feel so deceived! I honestly don't. I didn't care enough to argue with her about it. I'm about to start a new job since I graduate from school after this semester, and I'm not too concerned about my future in bartending. I trained basically every new person at this bar, and I was honest with them that I was fired in our group chat. They all started saying, if you get fired for that, we won't want to work here either. They were all saying bad things about the manager and how they want to screw the whole bar over by all quitting at the same time. Ooh. It must be really bad if that's the case. And you must be a heck of a guy or a girl. I don't know. I told them our new manager is balls to the walls. I said I'm going to be just fine, but not to make the same mistake and drink anything out of a shot glass because she's that concerned about it. I also told them to think for themselves and do whatever they need to do when it comes to their jobs. I then let my anger overtake me, and I said, if you want to find a job where you don't have to be constantly looking over your back and have to be worried about an insane manager, find different bartending and serving jobs. You're all capable people that don't deserve a psycho watching over you when you put good time into a workplace. I basically contradicted myself. You know what you did. I feel like I went over the top, and my sister said I should have kept my mouth shut. But I explained the whole situation to the old manager, who taught me the mix things together to look like booze so people don't feel rejected when they buy you shots trick. Oh, okay, so it's a thing. She thinks it's crazy the new manager won't trust me after training so many people, and my old manager loves me. My old manager quit because she was moving away with her fiance, but she told the new manager I was trustworthy, and I thought the new manager would have some trust considering I was basically running the bar when she came in. Whatever the case, am I the a-hole for letting a bunch of employees quit on my behalf? Because of now, 7 out of 10 bartenders where I was fired from are planning to group quit. I don't want the bar to close, but I want my manager to realize that she messed up. Okay.
Ooh,
here's
a
the
gar.
thing. I've worked in many a places where it was a hostile, a toxic work environment. I've been friends with people that work in these hostile work environments, and one by one, they start to drop like flies. Essentially. I'm thinking of one workplace in particular. We were all like a really tight-knit group, but it was just such a toxic workplace. One by one, people would quit, and it was the same reasons over and over and over again. It was the boss. It was the toxic work environment. It was the low pay, the no benefits, all these things, right? A lot of us were not really in a position where we could leave. Number one, we really enjoyed the job when, you know, it wasn't toxic. Number two, it was a little difficult to find a job like this. I kind of regret not quitting at the same time as the rest of the employees, but we were all adults. We could all make adult decisions, and so can these people. If they choose to quit, that is completely their choice, and it's their prerogative. I actually think it's pretty admirable that they want to back you up. I would actually be surprised if they stick with it. Everybody's all fired up at once, and then, you know, nobody ends up quitting. I understand you feel kind of bad, but they're adults, and they can make their own choices. Not the a-hole. You're not responsible for their actions. You're not responsible for the actions of a manager who's out to prove she's good at her job. You just passed on very valid information that people deserve to know to protect themselves from possible future harm to professional reputation. Exactly. And it's like you were already fired, so not the a-hole. If they quit, it's their choice, period. I second that. I'm surprised that they are actually quitting. We're gonna go with not the a-hole for this one. Sis guy.
Beep.
From a work retreat with a hickey. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. My wife returned from a work retreat with a hickey. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. Hey everybody, welcome back. We got a long, juicy, chunky one for you today. I, 27 male, am in a fight with my wife, 28 female. We've had fights before, but not this bad. I'm at a loss on how to proceed. Fight! For context, we're college sweethearts, married for almost 6 years. We have a daughter, 4 female. Our relationship was never perfect or without challenges.
Challenging.
We faced some family opposition with cultural differences, but we've made it work. She's my first love and my best friend. My wife works in corporate. Her job has annual work retreats that last for about a week. This year was in Vegas. Oh yeah? They don't call it Sin City for nothing. Are there bugs in Vegas? Anyways, I usually arrange my work schedule and tag along with her, and we make our own trip out of it. We couldn't this year. Our daughter gets major anxiety traveling long distances. We're working on it, but she wasn't budging, and we're deciding to just choose our battles. So I stood behind and held down the fort at home. The change of plans was a bummer because the trip was part of us reconnecting as both a couple and as a family. My wife's work hours have taken a toll, and her work-life balance leaves much to be desired.
I've been called a workaholic.
We entertain the idea for skipping the retreat. Attendance is optional, but it's generally frowned upon if you don't, and my wife's making connections in her field. She grew increasingly weird. We have a system. If either of us is away for extended periods, we keep in contact. So for the first day or so, she was herself, but she grew distant. Okay, so we're like not answering texts anymore. We're not checking in anymore. There's something to be said for like wanting to be present at something like this, but I think it's a general rule of thumb that like if you're traveling without your partner, we got to be checking in, you know? Just checking in once in the morning, couple texts throughout the day, if possible at the very least, once before we go to bed. You know, it's common courtesy. I'd even text her about important stuff and be left on red while she claimed she never saw my text. This isn't like a matter of like, oh, this is just like a friend and I like forgot to respond and I'll like get back to them whenever. Like, it's like, do you not think about your husband and go back to the messages and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I was just in the middle of a conversation, you know? Yeah. Whenever we talked, she was rushing me or our daughter off the phone. These were all times she wasn't involved in retreat activities. We were supposed to have a mini birthday celebration for our daughter over FaceTime. Our daughter was excited. It was something my wife promised her because the retreat overlapped with her actual birthday. But my wife backed out because she had people up to her room after a seminar. Oh. Huh. Okay. It was like she wanted my permission to break her promise to our daughter. I told her I wasn't offering that nor making her keep her word. Yeah, it's one thing to be like kind of busy and ignoring your husband, but if it's your child's birthday, why are you blowing off your own child? To like drink and hang out with your coworkers? Pretty sure they wouldn't mind if you took like some time to wish your daughter a happy birthday. She said I wasn't being fair and this was a networking opportunity. They were business oriented and wouldn't understand her stepping away for family time. Do they like not have families? I said her decision is her decision, but she'd have to explain it to our daughter. She promised that she'd rain check the following day. Our daughter didn't understand and cried. Right. No, that doesn't surprise me. My wife ended up hanging up and leaving me to comfort our daughter alone. Oh yeah, no. That whole incident rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it. She didn't keep her word for the rain check either. Yeah, there's a couple there. She was documenting the retreat on social media. Oh, okay, so she had time to be on her phone and post to social media, but not to like talk to her husband or her daughter on her birthday. Yeah, me no likey. One coworker, 23 male, was almost in every pic and video attached to her hip. In one pic, he had his arm around too comfortably around her, in my opinion. He's a recent hire in my wife's department. She was asked to oversee him. I don't like the guy. Neither do I.
Trust me, he sucks.
He doesn't know boundaries. Once, in response to a work assignment, he texted my wife she's exactly the kind of woman he needs to keep him in check. Like in a work capacity or like in general. My wife had brushed it off. She feels bad for him because he's not fitting in. And why is that? She took him under her wing during his first retreat with the team. If I questioned, she'd say she was tired or networking. There was always something. But I've seen her at these retreats. This wasn't like her. She was just off. I gotta say, if your intuition is telling you something, if the energy is off, bestie, you're not wrong. There's something going on. This video is sponsored by the good people at Bombas. Before we get into even more unhinged behavior, I need to talk about something that has genuinely improved my quality of life. And no, I'm not talking about therapy, even though it might be time to schedule some more of that. I'm talking about the Bombas Sunday slippers. These things feel like someone wrapped my feet in a cloud that pays taxes on time. They are redonkulously soft. They are Sherpa on the outside and Sherpa on the inside, and they have a hard bottom sole. So whether you're pacing your house trying to understand why your mother-in-law is like that, or you're binge watching my Am I the A-hole videos like it's an Olympic sport, your feet are living their best life. And Bombas doesn't do anything halfway. They have a one purchased, one donated policy. For every item you buy, they donate an item of clothing to someone in need. So your feet get princess treatment and you're helping someone else.
That's a good idea.
If you want to treat your feet or give someone an actually good gift instead of whatever Tom from accounting brings to Secret Santa, go check out the Bombas Sunday slippers. Use code Charlotte Dobre, all caps, for 20% off your first purchase. Let's get back to it. The day before her return home, she complained about a bruise on her neck. She stressed it was a bug bite. Did the bug punch her? How does a bug bite create a bruise unless you're like scratching it incessantly? I don't know. I'm not an expert on bug bites, but I don't think I've ever, like maybe a really bad mosquito bite and like really scratching it. I didn't actually see the bruise until she came home. I instantly thought it was a full-on hickey. This kind of reminds me of the time where Mike like stuck a phallus to his forehead to like film a sketch. And he took it off. He had a bruise, and it fully looked like a hickey on his forehead, like right in the middle, you know what I mean? But this is not that. I don't know why I brought that up. It just made me laugh because people were like, who gave you that hickey? The dill gave you that hickey. She kind of brushed it off after making a big deal about it over the phone. Why make a big deal about a bug bite? I didn't push because our daughter was present, but when I was able to confront her, she clung to her bug bite claim. When I kept pushing, she asked what I was trying to imply. I outright said I believed she had a hickey, and I didn't believe she was being honest with me. We had it out then. Fight! She was offended and pissed at the accusation. Infidelity has always been a sore topic. Her family has a history of infidelity. So we had a pretty bad fight, and she accused me of looking to pick a fight due to the incident with our daughter's birthday. Everything she did during that retreat, like the hickey is obviously one thing. The bug bite. Oh, you do bite. But like her behavior throughout that entire retreat was like something that like a neglectful ex-wife would do, ex-partner. I told her it had nothing to do with that and everything to do with the hickey on her neck. The fight ended at an impasse. We're still not recovered. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. I've always trusted my wife. I never doubted her. The bruise doesn't look like a bug bite. It looks like a hickey.
Is that a hickey?
Yeah, like where's the bite part of it? Strongly when I consider how distant and weird she was during the Vegas retreat. Now she's wearing turtlenecks ever since, and we're caught between arguing at her and me with affection. Communication usually prevails for us, but not now. I think my accusation has pushed us to a new level of argument. I'm at a loss here. I really need outside perspectives. How do I move forward? You're gonna need to see that phone, buddy. Okay, interesting comment. I've been to Vegas and I never saw a single bug. That's why I said that at the beginning. Don't recall there being lots of bugs in Vegas. I feel like they're afraid of like the lights and the music or something like that. I've only been to Vegas once, but I don't ever, like there's no like vegetation, you know? There's nowhere for these bugs to kind of like hang out. And it's the desert, isn't it? Not that there's no desert, but like I do not recall like ever coming into contact with a bug in Vegas. It is like dry as desert-like. Not saying they aren't there, but it's not like she was in the Mayan Riviera. This is all super sus. Don't let her gaslight you. She clearly got a hickey, which is